Okie doke, okie doke, artichoke. Where? Okay. If I was Oscar Piastri, I would commit an act of workplace violence. Hello. Hey. Okay. They completely fucked over Oscar, right? Like, I'm not wrong.
So are we starting with the McLarens or are we starting with Ferrari?
McLaren's.
Well, I think you check your Twitter DM. There's a Charles quote. I think it was just he picked up some damage somewhere.
No, there's no way. All those radios, he's lying. He's lying because he's not going to say what Ferrari did.
Okay, fine. We're starting with the McLarens. Yeah, no, they fucked Oscar. I don't think they knew they were fucking Oscar when they did it, but they screwed him over.
I don't know because they were like, "Do you want to cover off Charles or worry about Lando?" And he said Lando, and then they immediately pitted him to cover off Charles.
No. We have to start this. We have to start this at the beginning. We have to be systemic with this. The when McLaren screwed up was by getting off their lap 17, 18, something like that, to the point where he was locked into a two-stop the second that happened. That was when they made the mistake. If they take that to 25 and say, Charles, do what you're doing, I don't really care, then that still leaves you with the door to a two-stop open if you need it later. But it leaves the one stop at least vaguely on the table.
When did Lando pit first?
31.
Oh, damn.
But the thing is, they weren't going to originally have Lando one stop. They originally wanted Lando to box to overtake George, but then George pit the lap after Oscar, and so Lando had a box opposite command, and then he just kept staying out because they're like, well, we got to try something different. They thought a two-stop was the fastest strategy. It didn't turn out to be the fastest strategy, and no amount of Lando fans claiming it wasn't because Max lost out positions on a two-stop compared to, a one. Hamilton didn't, but the problem with Hamilton was he started on the hard tires and got caught behind Kimi Antonelli. That was the problem with one stop. The one stop was the faster strategy with clean air. And at the front, he would have clean air. The problem is McLaren didn't leave Oscar's situation. But, they asked Oscar, do you want that, what are you more focused on, Charles or Lando? And then, left him out until basically when they should have hit him. I was saying, even before we knew Lando was one-stopping, pit at 20 and then pit at, 40, 46, yeah. 47. They pit him on, I think, 46. I think they just thought the two-stop was faster. I mean, if you listen to what Crofty was saying, the one-stop is being talked about more on the radios than it was in our production meeting this morning.
Well, because it was cold.
I'm sorry, did they not have a weather radar?
Well, not at Ferrari. We know that Ferrari is unfamiliar with the concept of a weather radar. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that Oscar.
If you look at the Pirelli graphic, there were 5 listed strategies, and it was four variants of two-stoppers and one stop. And they tell you which they think is going to be fastest, and they thought that the two that Oscar did basically to a T was faster.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that Oscar pitted so early, but because I was like, I feel like, was he on the hard second?
Yeah. Everybody.
I think you leave him.
Hard.
I feel like Oscar wanted to be left out in that situation.
That wouldn't have worked though.
No, it probably wouldn't have.
Had a 13 lap newer tire.
Yeah.
And he would have
actually,
set of hard to go 52 laps.
But the thing is, you're assessing this as if these are normal Formula One drivers. Lando Norris can't overtake, so Oscar would have been Gucci.
52 laps on a set of hards. I know Pirelli has made tires that both can't do a single lap, but also can do 4,000. But like,
yeah, it's like kind of hard to tell. No, I'm a little bit less firm on that. He pitted so early the first time, but like they kind of pitted him. They shouldn't have done that. They should have left his strategy to be more flexible. And I feel like the reason they didn't is because they were already planning on one stopping with Lando secretly in their hearts.
No, because they gave him a box opposite command the next lap. George just
you're right.
By boxing, and then he did the opposite. Like, trust me, look, I think McLaren are a rigid organization. I think they are rigid, and they walk into a race with what their plan is going to be, and they are not very good. They are sneaky, underratedly not very good at problem solving in the moment.
Yeah, like on the fly.
And so to them, Oscar was on a two-stop. The plan was for Oscar to do a two-stop. They were going to have the lead car do a two-stop, and so they just pit Oscar.
Yeah.
At the time that the two-stop graphic told them to pit.
No, it's true.
Doing pretty good. The fact that there was, the fact that people were hanging on, the fact that Lando was behind George, none of that seemed to change the calculus, the math, whatever. And I don't think they just didn't really seem to have an answer. Whereas, the best teams are far more, Red Bull at the peak of Red Bulliness it never felt like they walked in with a strategy, right? They just kind of...
They adapt on the fly. Well, I will say this. People are like being pissy about Red Bull's strategy. And I'm like, but when you have the car that you have right now, you have to do more risky strategies. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to look like a genius when you have the car that you have in 2021 and 2 and 3 and Max Verstappen. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're being a little harsh on my girl right now because
it's not like Max was getting Bortoletto when he got by Stroll, and then he sat for like 15 laps in Bortoletto's DRS in dirty air, and Red Bull came to the not unreasonable conclusion of like, let's try something.
Right.
Max isn't here to fight for P. Like, Max doesn't really care about the difference between P7 and I think he finished P9. And it's like, so we're gonna try something. And he tried to do stop. It didn't work. But
yeah,
I think the problem. This is a frequent thing for me when it comes to like Mercedes strategies and people. It's just like sometimes there isn't a good strategy. Like sometimes when you qualified 8th on like truly merit and your pace is bad, you just don't have a good strategy, guys. You can't like magic your way to your car being less.
Right. Hannah Schmitz isn't a fucking magician.
Yeah, and I mean like same thing with Lewis today. It's just like, yeah, you qualified 12th. You put yourself into dirty air.
Well, he was also. It would probably be helpful to Lewis if he didn't have to lift and coast on lap 10. It's like, oh well, he's in dirty air. Your car sucks. Like this isn't the 2020 Mercedes where they're like, oh, they didn't plan for it to be in dirty air, which I still think is crazy. But like to do that when you're literally Ferrari, like acting like the expectation should 19 out of the 20 cars are going to be in dirty air. Like.
Yeah, no. Also, like, if you go back and rewatch Monza 2020, like, Lewis didn't have any problem passing these cars at Valtteri, apparently.
It actually, like, I'll be mad about that until my dying day. That like literally every time in Valtteri was like sucking it up in P9, like absolutely stuck, they'd be like, well, the Mercedes wasn't built in dirty air. Meanwhile, Lewis would start P45 and be 10th by like the third lap. And I'm like, it's funny how the Mercedes only has problems in dirty air when it's Valtteri driving it.
Even when they put George in the car that year, in fake Bahrain, like, funny, George didn't have any problems in that dirty air when he got
right. Oh, did you like my George Russell conspiracy video?
I love it so much.
I believe that. So going back and listening to the team radio made me believe that like even harder. Like it's actually crazy. And I just cannot think of a time. Like they'll get a tiny bit of damage.
What a driver didn't know he had a bug.
Like there's no even they're like, oh well, it was a slow puncture. Okay, the driver should still be able to tell that their tire is slowly flattening. You know what I mean? Like that would be
drivers can tell if their aero balance is like one tiny fleck off.
right. Like they'll get hit by a piece of gravel and it'll like dent the bottom of their car and they'll be like, something's wrong. Like it there's no fucking way that he had it. And also just like, okay, also the fact that Bono is acting so weird because he's like, there's a puncture, but stay out. Like, we're gonna stay out. It should be fine for this lap. The like so the only time in the history of the world, like, how did you know that it was going to be good for exactly one lap? And then when he came in, he was like, come in, this is a genuine puncture. And George is like, what? And he's like, it's genuine. And I'm like, I think the lady doth protest a bit too much. That, like, have you ever heard Bono be like, this is a genuine puncture? Like, nobody thought that it wasn't before you said that. Like, what?
I love this conspiracy.
It's
no. The only being like, yeah, your car is like horrible to drive, and it's like, hey, your air balance is one more than what we want it to be.
right, but George Russell
completely undrivable.
But George Russell did a racing lap on a punctured tire and couldn't notice the difference.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I love this. I love this conspiracy.
I need to interview Toto Wolff because, like, I really will sit him down, like, Law and Order SVU style, and be like, admit it.
Can we talk about your boy? Can you talk about your boy trying to murder my boy today for no good reason?
Oh, George Russell is being such a fucking Karen. Shut up. Me when he does it to other people versus me when he does it to Charles is night and day. But I was like, oh my god, George, like we're already suffering here. Like please.
So the funny thing is that like the first time that George was pitching, let's go Space. Thanks, Birdie. Sorry, I'm watching golf here. Just have to deal with this. The first time George got on George got on the horn and was complaining. I'm like, dude, just pass him.
Yeah, no, he was the first time was Karen behavior. The second time was wild by Charles. But
so I play it just as they're hitting the final corner, right? And I'm like, shut up, George. Just fucking pass him, right? I've seen you do worse. I literally said I was calling with a buddy, and I literally said, like, I have seen you do worse.
Right.
In defense.
Right.
I remember Spain 22, buddy, when you just commit war crimes against Max.
For real, though.
So shut the fuck up. And then Charles does what he does, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I was literally typing out a tweet being like, shut the fuck up, George. And then Charles did that, and I was like, delete. Oh. But, okay.
Stopped, I think you got the perfect timing on privating your Twitter, by the way, because you got all the likes for that tweet before the landing.
I had to. When I checked the likes and it was like 400, I was like, private. I just don't. Oh my god, that's so bad. I hit it. Oh my god, yeah, it's at 1,000 now. I hit it perfect. You had like 970 likes and 5 replies. Literally, Yeah, I was like, I actually don't have the emotional fortitude to be arguing with 15-year-olds today. Like, I'm gonna tell someone to kill themselves and then I'm gonna get canceled. Like that's uh I I just okay, but also circling back to Ferrari.
Yes, yes, we should do the full Ferrari thing.
Okay. I didn't have all the info, but they told me there's a chassis issue from lap 40, so I understand why that I felt that way in the car felt good before that point. We were keeping up with the McLaren. I'm disappointing, but these things happen in racing. No, no, Charlito.
Can I slightly bullshit on this?
Yeah, it's complete bullshit. He is lying through his teeth.
I was away from my TV when the cryptic, weird, you have betrayed your family and betrayed the oath you swore to Tuck or whatever radio message happened. But that was second stint. That was like middle of the second stint because I was back to watch Lando pit. I was back to watch Charles pit, and then everything else I saw. So that would have been like lap 20.
I tweeted it. It definitely. Hang on. I definitely have the lap count. 1 second. Oh no, this is on his team radio. Damn it.
But that was before whatever issue he picked up. So clearly he had something he was unhappy about.
No, yeah,
I still can't figure out what he was unhappy about at that point. Was it that they pit him to cover off Oscar?
No, it was something they did. Hang on. Let me get the full hang on. I need the first. So the first one he said is the one I tweeted where he was like um you wait. We're going to lose the race with this thing. It's obvious to understand. And then before, okay, well, first he said, "What's going on with these cuts?" So like he was having engine cuts. That was lap like 4. Like that was like the beginning of the race when he was still leading.
That was the first stint. That was even before pit stop.
Right. Then the first thing he says is, "We're gonna lose this race with this thing. It's obvious to understand." Um, and then he goes, "Hang on." There's 4 radios over the course of uh where are you? I have to.
I just want to make clear. He says that we're going to lose this race with this thing message while he is still notionally leading, while he is second on the road.
Yeah.
We're still thinking at this point that the 2-stop is the right move.
This was pre his second stop, I believe, or right after.
Yeah. I don't even know if Lando has pit a second time.
No.
Pit the first time yet when he says this.
We have to could not survive the religion to main loss. Oh my god, I'm seeing like different radios that I didn't fucking hear the first time.
Right. No. Yes, they allegedly talked about something or discussed something, and I don't know what that thing is because I don't know what they did. I don't know what Ferrari could have done wrong by like lap 27 to piss off Charles so badly.
Right. And he's like, "We're gonna lose the race with this thing." That's not damage. If he didn't know there was damage, he couldn't have been talking about the damage.
And the car's pace was fine at this point.
Right.
He was, arguably fastest man on track. McLaren were still not really gaining. Oscar wasn't really gaining on him still. By this point in the race, like everything seemed fine. It was just that third stint where Charles's pace,
fell off a cliff. Yeah. Oh my god, it's still the second freaking radio. I've been scrolling. I found it for my video. I should have freaking saved it then. Maybe it's hang on 1 second. Maybe it's in my photos. Pause. Cut.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, they probably yes. Did they do something did they do something with the setup? Maybe, but like
it has to be something.
Lap 27 or whatever. His pace was fine. The setup looked good. So why was he so upset?
Right. Because they did something on the grid, but like that could be many things. It could be an engine mode. It could be something with the setup. something with the wing, but like it has nothing to do with damage because that has nothing to do with like if Charles didn't know about that during the race, like what is the
Yeah, like the damage. Look, I think the damage might be
okay.
why his pace
So the second
in that third stint because he pounded like 39 to 40, I think.
yeah, so the first radio is we're gonna lose the race with this thing. It's obvious to understand. I don't necessarily, I'm not 100% confident on the second half of that statement, but and then he says, I can feel what we discussed before the race. We need to discuss those things before doing those. So they like changed his car without telling him.
Brake bias?
Either it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what it is. Changing the car without telling the driver is crazy work. And then he
No, I agree with that, obviously. I'm just trying to, like, just puzzle together why he was so mad when his pace was fine the first time he started talking. Like, everything was,
because he could
you know,
feel it, obviously, but like what exactly, like what could they have changed under Park Verme that like he could feel?
brake bias almost has to be the only thing, but it's like,
Yeah.
do we think like, you know,
Wing adjustments, maybe? That's like the only, or like an engine mode. So these are the only three things I could think that you would be allowed to change without incurring a penalty.
but so what? They lowered the engine slightly to try and make sure that the engine made it to the end of the race.
I have no idea. Maybe.
Because he would have rather had an engine that could have given him a win, or but if it blows up, he'd rather.
That makes me right. That kind of I kind of think it's engine related just because of the radio at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point.
That's the same thought process. That's the same thought process that I'm going through to try and figure out what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh, that's okay. Wait, people are making kind of a good point. Green Glowy Girl said, "You, I feel like you'd notice brakes before that long into the race." That's true, but it's possible he was just getting frustrated with it in that moment. But like, you're right. That probably would have come up earlier. But
Yeah.
Chris made a good point that said, the if the temps were lower than expected, maybe the tire pressure was off.
Maybe.
I feel like the damage makes sense for the second half drop off, but that still isn't like the damage doesn't explain what those weird ass radio messages were.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm already like I don't even want to watch Fred's interview because I know it's gonna fucking enrage me.
I'm sure it will.
Let's hear what Lando has to say. I bet he'll be super gracious. Classy as always. I'm ready to analyze Oscar's body language like I'm the FBI right now.
He was apparently hitting his head against the headrest.
Oh my god.
On the lap back to the grid.
Apparently they muted Charles's radio, but I'm like, did they mute him or did he just not say anything? Either way. I'm like, good, get mad.
They aired the Vegas radio. Why couldn't he have said that was worse than the Vegas radio?
No, but Ferrari can mute his radio.
Oh.
Obviously, Sky is gonna air it. They would love to fucking air what he has to say. No, they probably muted it because of what he did at Vegas. I'm like, good, get mad, Charles. Like you need to like snap out of the brainwashing sometimes. I love him, but like,
I mean, Lewis is only sixth in the WDC because Kenny had like 4 engine failures in a row. Like, let's
also like
from the points. Like
hold on. I mean, it's not as bad as I thought, but like, what if I ended it all? Like, there's truly, it's I never like I Ferrari when I find you when John Elkin I'll see you in hell like I genuinely
I love how that's also a confession that you are going to hell.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's already well, I actually think that, like, I'm hoping for purgatory, I really am. It depends on how strict they are about the gay thing, and it depends on a couple of other like, they would never give me a rubric in Catholic school. I always wanted a rubric to be like, "Okay, like, what score do I need to get to purgatory?" You know what I mean? Because I don't think I'm a ba
But technically, as long as you repent all your sins like 12 minutes before you die,
you have to actually be you have to actually be sorry, unfortunately.
no, damn it.
I know,
Well,
I know,
that's why I got it in film.
I know. But
Also, can we just take a brief moment before we do Lando's interview? And I wanted I listening to that man's whiny little voice. George Russell podium. Let's go, my boy, the goat. He got Lando on lap one. Turned that into a podium. Let's go, my guy, George Russell. Love you. Never doubted you. 2026 WDC. Let's go.
you know what?
Let's go.
I am happy for George. I'm not really even a little bit actually. That was such a lie, but you know.
You're gonna have such a great time when it's a Lando George title fight next year.
There's if McLaren has I mean, if Mercedes has an even remotely competitive car, it won't be a title fight. Let's put it that way. A George Lando title fight. That's offensive to George Russell.
No, I agree, but like, fine, air quotes title fight.
Yeah.
It's so funny that like we finally have
A common enemy.
We finally have Max Twitter, Charles Twitter, and George Twitter all on the same page. That it's these three, like a steaming pile of garbage, and then the McLaren boys.
I will say this. I said this last year too. I never in my life on F1 Twitter, which I've been on F1 Twitter since 2019. Like, I've been here a while now, and never in my life have I seen the community come together in the way that it did last year. You had Lewis Hamilton fans rooting for Max Verstappen. Like, it was, and being like, Lewis Hamilton fans would be like, I hate Max. Like, I think he's a literal Nazi, but like, you can't say he's not good. And like, you can say that about like, it was, I have never, and I also think like, I do feel for Lando like a little bit in that, like, not even Lando, but like Lando fans, and that like, well, Sky Sports unintentionally did him so fucking dirty last season by just getting on and like lying on like every single broadcast and being like, we need to change the rules. And because I genuinely think that like the Sky of it all made people so people who like otherwise really wouldn't have given a fuck one way or the other. But like Sky's coverage was just so fucking annoying that people were like, all right, fuck this guy.
So I think it was a combination of Sky's coverage was pretty bad. Two, Lando has just said a lot of things that's pissed off a lot of fan bases, right? Like,
Yeah, it's almost like if you
hate him, Lewis fans hate him, George fans don't want him to get a title first. I think Charles fans probably don't want him to get a title first. You know.
Yeah, there's also a lot of Seb fans in the Charles fan community.
Right. A lot of people did the daily double that you did, right?
Yeah. I think all of the Seb fans either went to me or Max. So like the Seb community was pretty united in there.
And even Max fans, like even if they didn't previously like rep Vettel, they at least respect Vettel.
Yeah.
And so it's like Lando just pissed off a lot of fan bases, or a lot of fan bases don't want to see Lando get a WDC.
Well,
but
and
the other thing is, people don't want to watch a mid-off. And the problem with the seller is Oscar Piastri. I have defended you many, many times. You are not helping.
I know.
You're not helping the cause of calling this a mid-off. You should have got him today. I don't understand what the hell you were doing. You should have got him today.
That was like,
I don't care.
Low key. Every time it's like,
no,
ooh.
That was high key, very bad, very embarrassing.
Every time they're about to fight, it's like the biggest flop in the entire world. And I'm like, ugh.
Piastri should have got him here. He had the opportunity to get him in Austria, but he just kept doing the same attacking line, which meant that Lando kept getting DRS down the when they turn right in Austria. It's turn 3, I think.
Yeah.
The last dose of DRS, Lando kept getting it into turn 4, going down the hill because Oscar didn't realize that he needed to brake a bit earlier. Make sure Lando's added the detection point. He couldn't play DRS chicken properly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, get in a fucking video game. Get in F125.
Yeah.
Do 3 races in Austria. You know how to fucking overtake there.
Watch some Max Verstappen onboards. I don't know what to tell you, bro. No, I want to be.
Watch Yarno up here. It's not difficult.
No, I'm trying to be pro Oscar so bad, but he's making it very difficult. Max and Charles would never do this to us. They would never do this to us.
Max and Charles wouldn't do this to us. Max and George wouldn't do this to us. Charles and George wouldn't do this to us.
Max and George would actually not even have been at this race because they'd both be in jail by now. I want a Max George title fight, but I do worry that it would be like a hazard to public safety. I feel like one day we would just see a Twitter account that's like, is this Max and George? And it would just be them like brawling in the middle of a London street.
Just like, oh my God.
Just no cameras, just for the love of the game. Truly, like, they just one day there's a fight club. They're organized a secret fight club in the parking lot of Brackley.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to hear somebody who claims Lando Norris is a good driver complain about George Russell's racecraft because he makes a couple of mistakes. When Lando Norris, literally lost the championship last year, lost the part of the championship last year where he had the fastest car. I will not tolerate George Russell slander from a Lando Norris fan.
What do you mean? What do you mean he won today by having his team hand him the preferential pits?
Oh my God, dude, racecraft. I'm sorry, Lando Norris sat behind George Russell for another 15, 16, 17 laps? Does Lando Norris not have racecraft?
Okay, wait. I want to listen to Lando's interview, though. Hang on. Yes. We're at that point in that fun. If I was Oscar, I would be so fucking mad. Oh my God. I don't know if we had good strategy. I would say you.
It's not a conspiracy. The argument that we're making is not that McLaren are engaging in a conspiracy to help Lando. My argument, and I think I can speak for...
No, I was making that argument, but I thought
McLaren are bad at their jobs.
No.
That is my argument.
Regardless of no, I thought it was intentional, but then I didn't realize that Oscar had pitted as early as he did. So now I no longer think it's intentional, but regardless of the intention, McLaren completely fucked Oscar over. Like regardless of whether they meant to do that or not, that is how it happened.
So you were around more for like 2014, 15, 16. Let's say this exact same thing happens with Nico and Lewis. Would they, and let's say Nico's in second, would they have allowed Nico to one stop in this case?
No.
You are coming in a lap later. We're not like fuck. We're not letting you mess with this. I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer to that either. They kind of had lost control of the plot at some point, Mercedes. So like they were kind of letting them operate independently because like they knew that it gets to a point where you don't do team orders because you know they're not going to follow it. So the team wants to like avoid appearing as if they've lost control. You know what I mean? But I don't know, like I don't blame them for doing that to Lando because it's like for the team, you want the best outcome, right? But whether they meant to or not, Oscar got fucked. I guess they let them fight at the end. No, what they would have done is there's no way Mercedes would have let them fight at the end. I'll say that. Everybody loves this guy, and I find him so annoying. To me, it's just crazy to be like, do you want to pit to undercut or overcut, whichever one it was at that time, Leclerc, or do you want to worry about Lando? And he said, worry about Lando. And they were like, box to undercut Leclerc. Like, to me, that.
There was a bigger gap to those two things than you.
Probably. I need to rewatch it. I did miss a significant chunk in the middle there. I just want to say that Ferrari,
Some of the worst camera work I've ever seen. People who complain about F1 TV direction need to watch golf.
Well, golf is like you can't see the fucking ball. I like that they got the shot tracker. That was a big improvement when that.
Yeah, I quite literally have no idea where Jordan's face ball that he just hit is. Like, it could be 20 yards from the green. It could be 100.
The world may never know. Yeah, they need to put up a little fake pin. Yeah. Remember How We Go Racing is kind of crazy.
I don't think Lewis isn't going to retire for the very simple reason that he will definitely want a retirement tour when he retires.
Yeah.
And he will want every race to give him his flowers and his,
Who's this blonde chick on Sky Sports? Not Ruth, the other one. I love Ruth's dress, though, that she's wearing right now. A new person. I don't really watch F1 TV often. I just need to. Okay, let's hear from Andrea. Here we go. My king. Wait, that's Laura Winter? No way. Oh, Laura's sub. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Did she dye her hair? Nikki Winter. Nikki Shields. Oh, okay. Cool. I thought people were saying. I hope their factory gets struck by lightning and burns down. With no casualties, obviously. I hope nobody's inside. Well, she's excited. I have no real opinion. I will say, if we can be in the trust tree for a minute, trust tree, everyone's like, oh my God, like Sky all women's lineup this weekend. And I'm like, I just am not. I feel like everybody loves Rachel Brooks, and I'm like, you could. I don't dislike her, but like, I've never noticed her presence ever one time. Like, she's just there. Like, she is the most completely neutral, like, commentary person. And maybe you need that, especially on Sky. But I like Bernie, um, but also like, in my opinion, Natalie and Naomi are the best like people on Sky. So like women on Sky. So yeah, I don't really like Simon either. I complain about everybody. So I guess the host, you're right. Like as the hosting entity, that like probably is your job.
Yeah, that was a weird Brundle senility moment. The blue flags digression for no good reason.
Yeah.
Um, which, in fairness, Brundle is actually pretty old, so like it's not that surprising. He's gonna make a mistake. I care less about like a random, just like you misread the board or something like that, than I do him consistently claiming it was a gearbox failure in Monaco 2021.
Don't even get me fucking started on that shit. I feel like Jamie, I can't form a real opinion on yet because I haven't seen enough.
She's only done it a few times, I believe.
Yeah, she's fine.
I mean, here's the thing.
Everyone's like, I feel like people just like, if she was a dude, nobody would care. Like, and not to be like a red pill incel, bro, but like, I, I I mean, she's good, like fine. Like I've never had a negative thought either, but she's like done it twice, and I'm like, eh. Like Bernie, I do love, but I also
Can I get my real opinion off on this?
Sure.
Everybody sucks at doing TV the first time because it's a really weird format.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And so it's just like I don't give everybody like their one run, like a season's worth of run, and then start to have these conversations because it's just like
Right.
everybody sucks. Everybody sucks at first.
Because it's an awkward thing to do.
Because the host has got to get X number of, 3 people on a panel all need to talk. You need to sound at least like you know what you're talking about too. You can't just immediately throw to your guests.
Yeah.
And then you've got to do all this. You've got a producer talking in your ear of like, yeah, you got to like wrap up pretty quickly because you got to get to, because they got to get to Andrea Stella, or they got to start to Ted who's doing something, or they got to start somewhere else. Or you've got a driver coming by. It's weird. It's awkward. You're trying to like, even if you do disagree with somebody, it's kind of hard to say that out loud because it's like,
Yeah.
You gotta try and be polite and respectful.
Well, yeah, also British people are like psychologically incapable of saying what they mean, so that must be a difficult internal battle.
And the other thing, of course, is that you have to do all of this in about a 45-second thing. When to set up the point you want to make, it's frequently a more time extensive point than that. And, you know,
No, it's tremendously difficult. I feel like Jamie's done okay. I just feel like
there's like a certain threshold of like, I just need you to be like, I need you to have made like a single insightful point within your first season. And she
has
what I call the Paul DeResta test, because she did not. At no point did he ever make an insightful point.
Well, that motherfucker is an enemy of the state. Let me tell you that right now. Except for we can't even talk about it. I went through a stage where my lives were getting banned every time I went live for bullying Paul DeResta, and in hindsight, like there was probably some validity to those takedowns.
You know what the worst part about Paul DeResta is?
Him inventing the Spinala nickname, because that is definitely it.
No, the fact that he is in the booth for my favorite race of all time.
What?
Russia 21. He's in the booth for it.
Oh, I knew there was a reason I didn't like that race. Okay, I will say though, a little to critique.
Is that why you refuse to do the watch along you've been promising me since 2022?
No, it's because Seb did bad that race, and I don't want to rewatch it. But they no, Anthony Davidson is a fave of mine. I really like him. They
Is Davidson a fave, or does he just protect Hamilton?
No, he also wouldn't when they were all the reason he won he will the way that man lies his ass off for Lewis Hamilton, but like I respect the hustle. Like I respect it because also when Jensen Button was like, we need to change the rules of Formula One so that Lando Norris can overtake, like Anthony Davidson stood on that. He died on that sky pad being like, this is the penalty. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. And they were all like, but what? And he was like, this is a penalty. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And I'll always love him for that. They.
No, it's great. I do. He has an ability to show a lap at the sky pad and to like I don't know why he could just talk through a lap in that format. I think better than Karun, who has sometimes tried to do it.
Karun after the Carlos Sainz.
You are, but like Karun just isn't good in that format. He's the really horrifying thing is that Karun has been. We're getting Karun like fairly soon again in the calendar.
No.
Because I'm pretty sure, because Baku's like 3 races away, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Because it's him and that hairy guy are doing
Uh,
the backup team now.
no, this means that Karun's gonna be the one to replace Brundle. Are you fucking for real?
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna have to listen to Mark Webber. No, that's clearly what's happening. Is that's the backup team that's gonna be put in when Brundle and Crofty eventually retire. I feel like that's pretty clearly why they're putting Hinchcliffe in the way that they're putting him in. But also, like,
no. Hinchcliffe isn't Sky. No, it's Harry Benjamin.
Well, Harry, whatever. I don't, and also, like, who the fuck is that man? Like, he just appeared out of nowhere. I don't like him. Like, and I have no reason not.
He gets the radio broadcast.
Who listens to the radio in England? Like, people are sitting here acting like I'm listening to BBC radio. Like, but also, here's the thing. I feel bad for Harry because, and everyone's like, he's so much better than Crofty. Literally got the Ferraris mixed up on the opening lap the last time he did commentary. Yeah, and that's the main thing people criticize Crofty for is, which I will say, circling back to criticism of Crofty and Brundle, they literally, Crofty, when all that George thing was happening, he thought it was Valtteri that had to pit again the whole time and like completely ruined like a very interesting part of commentary. So like, don't get me wrong, like Crofty definitely has his moments. I mean, I feel like it's like impossible to be perfect in these things, but that's like everyone's like, he's so much better than Crofty. He's so much better than Crofty. Literally did the exact same thing his second time.
Cliff is that he went on some podcast during, I think it was Hinchcliffe, some podcast being like, oh no, it was never a title race. We were just like trying to hype it as one. But like, no, Lando never had a chance. And it's like, oh, so you're admitting that you lied to us then?
Hate him.
Cool, great. Also, gives a bad name to Canada.
He's Canadian? I didn't know that.
I think so.
Well,
I found that out on one of your lives one time.
If it makes you feel better, our rep, America's rep, is fucking Zach Brown. So
yeah, but you had Logan Sargent.
Oh, great. A defense contractor Nepo baby and a fucking Trump donor. Sick.
Counterpoint. She's hot.
There are a lot of hot men in the world. That doesn't.
He is one of them.
And that doesn't make him.
Also, Crofty is way better at filling time in boring races. Not even boring races, but just like as you're waiting for things to develop, you know.
Yeah.
Harry Benjamin is never getting the most iconic line of F1 commentary of this century so far.
Friends, teammates, everything, bar lovers.
Yes. I love how you just knew what I was gonna say.
It needs to be Nico or Jensen. Like, it needs to be. That's like the clear choice. Karoon, I'm telling you, that man is a permanent enemy of mine ever since the Carlos Sainz bullshit. Like, I genuinely hate that motherfucker.
No. Do not pretend that was your origin story of hating Karoon. Come on.
Wait, what's my real origin story?
Suzuka 22.
Oh, yes. But they were all, Jensen was also, he was the only one who wasn't bad. That they were all bad that day. Like, Karoon was
that was one of the most insane red flags I've ever seen.
Karoon breaking down Pierre, like, not braking fast enough for yellow flags. When like on the sky pad, when you can just see the recovery, the shadow of the outline of the recovery vehicle in every clip, and he just never mentions it. LOL. No, he was
and completely ignores the reason why Pierre Gasly
would be upset about that.
Would be upset about that at Suzuka.
Right. He was bad. He and Crofty, I think, were the worst ones that day, but they were all bad. They were all.
You were so bad about that. I remember your race review from that race. Oh, it's still up. But you were big mad on man.
No, I am still big mad about that. Was fucking crazy. And like people like try to gaslight me about that all the time. People are like, it's actually fine to have recovery vehicles on track in the rain. And I'm like, did we all not agree that we weren't gonna do that anymore? Like, am I hallucinating? Like, I genuinely
the number of people, well, because here's the thing, and I say this as somebody who also came to spring after this, it's like I have never seen somebody die in a motorsports accident.
Yeah. Right? I have many times, and it's not fun.
Like I wasn't here for Jules Bianchi.
I wasn't there for that one either, but when I was little, it used to happen like kind of a lot.
I missed Antoine Bear. I missed, obviously I have gone back and watched some of the sort of iconic crashes that have, ended tragically.
No,
I've seen Senna, but like
people were trying to gaslight me, and the way they just used to like zoom in on their dead body, fucking crazy.
So you know what? I'm the only race of 2020 I haven't seen.
What?
I refuse to watch real Bahrain 2020. I can't watch this Grosjean crash.
Yeah, that was a tough watch. I won't lie to you, but he.
I feel like, he survives. I should be able to watch it.
Well, I think that they should show them getting out of the car if they have that footage, but I think the extent to which it was replayed, the angles, we didn't need to break it down like the Zapruder film, okay? Like one shot of him getting out of the car was enough. I think it was bordering on disrespectful considering that you didn't, yes, he was out of the car, but you didn't know that he was going to be totally okay at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just weirdly, even though I know he's fine, and like I know he is competing in other motorsport series, and like seemingly genuinely okay. I mean, I guess good thing that the fireproofs work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true.
But, like I've seen occasionally like a small clip of it. And I literally cannot watch it.
No, it's so scary. I will say the scariest crash that like I remember watching as a kid, and now obviously like there were other people that like I was watching that like probably died, and I'm sure my parents like turned the TV off of, you know what I mean? But I remember Kubica's crash in whatchamacallit, Canada, and that one is scary. And he like isn't okay after it, and like so like there is no shot of him like walking away, you know what I mean? Mark's crash in I think it's Valencia is also really scary. But like he radioed, so like it kind of cuts it a little bit, like the fear when they radio and are like, I'm okay. But yeah, there's been some scary ones. But no, I will say, yeah, Japan was bad, but like they were all bad. But like the way Karun Chandok, the 3 times a year Carlos would out qualify Charles would be like, um, did Ferrari fire the wrong driver? Like, well, he's 47 points back in the drivers' championship, so I don't think so, Karun.
Remember when Carlos won Australia last year, and the entire commentary was did Ferrari fire the wrong driver, and not did not mention at all the fact that they were telling Charles to build a gap, protect him, build a gap.
Yeah.
You were like,
oh, I'm like mad about it now, like sitting here right now. And also the way that they would sacrifice Charles for Carlos and then be like hold position, but the same was never, but they were free to fight whenever Carlos was behind.
So the week after Australia, where Charles was told in no uncertain terms not to fight, Charles does a one stopper. Carlos is like, "Am I free to pass?" And Ferrari's like, "Yep, do whatever you want."
Why wouldn't you be?
But it's like, hey, I thought we were doing the Team Orders thing. I thought we were
No,
doing this together.
It is actually when you really go back and rewatch it, it's actually shocking how blatant it is that like it's team orders when it benefits Carlos and it's let them fight when it does not. And this is like Fred. So I'm like, what is going on? Karun is being paid by the evil trio of Carloses, and like I will stand on that. It's the craziest thing in the whole world to me personally. I just hate
Brundle in Mexico just being like, "Oh, I'm happy for Carlos. I've always been a fan." It's like,
yeah, we know.
we know.
We fucking know, Martin. Oh my god. No, it's like him.
I just had a horrifying realization. I just had a horrifying scenario. What if James Vowles really brings Williams to the front? The Merc engine is like a cheat code 2014 engine, and Carlos Sainz is fighting for a world championship next year.
Then I look forward to Alex Albon World Championship 2026 because Carlos doesn't have what it takes, and I'll stand on that.
Yeah, but like James is weird and like vaguely homoerotic about Carlos.
Yeah, but Alex is kicking Carlos's ass. Like, what are we talking about? I think that would be awful. I mean, whatever. Who cares? Everything is awful. It's gonna suck no matter what because Ferrari's
it's a Williams championship, but it's Carlos Sainz. How do you feel about that?
You'll never hear from me again. Shut up.
Really, the Carlos would be worse than the Williams would be good?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Of course it would be worse than. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I like Williams, but like, yeah. If Alex won, I would feel differently about it. That would be awesome. But Alex winning a world championship is probably, if Ferrari couldn't win, like that's probably my next number one. That's probably what I would pick if I can't have a Ferrari win. but which, as we know, is impossible. But Carlos winning would be, I would, I think I would actually light myself on fire in front of Maranello.
So in slight defense of Carlos Sainz, the Williams is an extremely hard car to drive. It's very pointy, not necessarily in the sense of having a super strong front end. It's just like a lot of straight line turns. Like, it doesn't take corners very well.
No, it doesn't.
It's hard to drive, and it's a hard car to adapt to.
Well, good news if they adapt it to make him more comfortable, then they definitely won't be winning a world championship next year.
I'm not saying that they should do what Ferrari did. You know, I'm just saying, like, every time George and Alex is interviewed, George basically wants to be like, you know, this car is horrible. Like, this car is a disaster to drive. Alex is doing such a great job. And, like, I can say it because I am no longer employed by this team.
Listen, I'm happy that George is defending his boyfriend, but Carlos simply, it's hard for Alex to drive too. Like, and yes, he has a year more experience in it, but like,
I mean, 3 years more experience.
Okay, 3 years. What are 3 measly little years? Oscar Piastri is a rookie still, okay?
I will say, the funniest movie, I think it's Monza. I think it's Monza 23. Monza 22 is the Nick DeVries memorial sub-in for Alex Appendicitis. So 23. Both of them are in Q3. They do a Sky interview together. And I think it's like George P4, Alex P6. And they ask him, how's the start going to be? And Alex looks like he wants to say something, and he looks kind of awkward. And George just goes, I'll step in.
His spokesperson.
It's a very hard car. It's a very hard car at a start. You lock those front brakes very easily. And he said, we're driving back tonight together. So, basically, if you could take somebody out, don't take me out, and don't take a Ferrari out, because I don't want you to be killed.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be in the car, so if they mob us, they're getting me too. Oh.
Yeah, I love those two, though. They're yes. And Chris, exactly. The Williams being pointy isn't necessary. It's absolutely not a purpose. It's just they don't have time to solve problems.
Right.
Like,
I think
they don't. The Williams doesn't take corners well. That's why they're great at Monza and Spa.
Not being able to turn is a crazy characteristic for an F1 car to have.
I mean, look, the car's less pointy this year than it was like 3-4 years ago.
Okay, proud of them for that one, but like, if it weren't for those damn corners.
But like I was I have watched every race George Russell has run in those dog shit Williams, and it's just like that car does not turn. It turns, in the same way that people say the W11, turn corners into straights. It also does the same thing, but in a very different way.
But slower. No, I feel that, but I have faith in my boy Alex to stave. I have faith in my boy Alex to stave off a Carlos WDC in that situation. What my real concern is Aston, because
I don't think the Honda. The last time Honda had to build an engine on their own, it did drive Fernando Alonso from the sport the first time. Hopefully, it can do so again.
Oh my God! I hadn't even made the Honda Fernando connection. You're so right. I hope they should bring Seb back and then randomly become good as payment for what they did to him that first time. And that's why everyone loves Bernie Collins. And I do think that she's amazing on the broadcast, but I hate that. I hate that bitch. I hate her so much. Not really. But like, I remember what you did.
You mean deliver a strategy masterclass that got him a podium in Baku and a P2 in Hungary. I'm still counting it as a P2. I don't care.
No, you're right. It is like you have to do weird shit when you're in the position that they're in. But at the same time, Baku was mostly luck. Like Max Verstappen got a puncture. Like that's what happened in Baku. Like
Lewis Hamilton forgot how to drive.
right, momentarily. Like that wasn't. And there were a lot more lows than there were highs. Like, but I loved her on the broadcast. I'm trying to get over my petty anger over the Aston Martin of it all. And also, I will say, like my real beef with her is actually has nothing to do with the races at Aston. It's the fucking qualifying sessions where like they just could not get it together in terms of like the timing of the it was like very disorganized, very I just
in fairness to Bernie Collins, she and bad quality lap time like strategy of when they go out did get George Russell into Q3 for the first time in a Williams. So
okay, well, like
because Seb definitely impeded Fernando in the final corner in Austria that year. You know.
No.
And so George got it on P10.
Yeah, but like Seb just got fucked over so many times, and it's like, I remember what you did, and I can't. It's yeah. It would be like if fucking not Mattia, that's bad. But if Laurent, it's like how everyone loves Laurent Mekies now, and I'm like, an enemy of mine.
What? Okay, so here's the question: you hate everybody who does work or has worked for Ferrari?
No, I don't hate Sylvia. I don't hate Fred. I don't hate.
No, you do hate Fred. Shut the fuck up. You absolutely hate that motherfucker.
No, I wish him to. I haven't decided my opinion on him yet. We'll see.
Every single time you mention how he talks about how there's potential in the car, you prove that you hate this man.
Well, I don't hate him. I just think that John Elkann is standing off screen with a gun. Like, I actually don't like. And as much as I compare, like, you can't compare how I feel about Fred to how I feel about Mattia Binotto. Like, that's crazy. Like, Mattia, that is true hatred. Laurent Mekies is, I would say, true hatred as well. Fred, he's pissing me off, but, like, he could still redeem himself. I don't hate any of the Enricos. I just think they kind of suck. But they've done, like, nothing to earn my ire. I'm trying to think. I don't hate Mike Crack. I don't really care about him either, but no, Mattia and Laurent Mekies. Well, Laurent Mekies pisses me off because, like, how are you the head of operations for Ferrari from 2019 to 2023? Like, what about the logistical operations of that team were you like, did they look at and were like, great job, well done, promotion? Like, that last bitch. He also looks like a rat. And I know that all French people vaguely resemble rats, and I shouldn't be Frenchist, but he is especially rodent-like.
I mean, did Brian do anything wrong this weekend?
No, I don't dislike Brian. He's fine. I don't even really hate that other race. The race engineers are the least of our fucking problems.
Well, no, Mr. We Are Jackie was annoying.
Oh my god, yeah, and also there was a minute there where like both Charles and Carlos would get an impeding penalty like every single fucking weekend because Ferrari just like wouldn't tell them when there were other cars approaching. So that was annoying. But I will say, credit to Fred, he seems to have mostly fixed that specific problem.
That or they just stopped giving impeding penalties. It feels like nobody's getting impeding penalties anymore.
Yeah, that's true. They used to be a lot more strict with it.
It sort of seems like the new philosophy is if it does not meaningfully impede you in the sense that it does not, like, they're not going to give Lewis Hamilton an impeding on, like, Lando Norris on a random, like, Q1 run that didn't end up mattering.
Yeah. I will say, I was reading something else and I was thinking about the Max and George thing, and I'm like, really the funniest part of Max and George's whole beef is that this is over an impeding penalty. Like, watching their reactions is even funnier when you really keep at the front of your mind the whole time that they're beefing over a one place impeding penalty.
And Max saying, like, oh, I would have let him win,
Yeah, okay, Max.
faster.
Yeah, okay, Max. Sure, I believe that totally. Oh, yeah, as if. And also, Max like straight up lying, being like, "Well, the reason I'm mad is because he said something different to my face, and he's and he, or because he said to my face that it was fine and it didn't affect him at all, and then he said something different in the steward's office." And then the clip comes out of George and Max talking, and it's George being like, "You totally impeded me," like Max just straight up lied about what George said to him. Like, okay, girl.
Remember, Max only associates with men of honor and dignity or whatever.
Yeah. Well, when you're a racist, I think that like he doesn't associate with non-racist. I'm kidding, but it is hilarious to say that when you're
like the four horsemen of your life are Nelson Piquet Jr., Jos Verstappen, Helmut Marko, and Christian Horner.
saying that and then immediately going to bat for Helmut Marko is actually crazy, but yeah,
or leaving the man, or allowing the man who ran over your mother into the paddock every week.
Or how about two races? Well, no, that was post Brazil. So it was like last weekend, the guy who called Lewis a slur twice on live TV was in your fucking Red Bull hospitality.
Two weekends before, yeah.
And also, by the way, like that's not his only crime. Like he also called Senna gay he meant it in a bad way. He also said that the only reason that Nico won in 2016 is because Lewis was fucking him, which like I don't know, because he was fucking Lewis. Let's be honest. Lewis Hamilton is not bottoming in that situation. And he once again meant it in a bad way. He meant it in a bad way. And he has called Keke. He loves calling people gay. That's like his favorite pastime. Again, in a bad way. And like, because I have to be careful because I also call people gay pretty regularly, but I mean it in a good way. But like, yeah, Nelson Piquet is like objectively a bad person. He also like helped fucking Bolin, the ex-president of Brazil, pilfer millions of dollars from the taxpayers of Brazil. Like,
I mean, the thing about Max that's so funny in a lot of ways is just like this man has no capacity to be normal about like just like a kind of normal bad race, like, dude, you don't have the fastest car anymore. You decided to stay at Red Bull. Oh, can I do this rant, by the way?
sure.
Oh, why would he choose to stay at Red Bull? Why would he choose to stay at Red Bull? I don't think he has a better option. I don't think he has a definitively better option for next year, right? Because here's the thing. Toto Wolff is not firing either George Russell or Kimi Antonelli for a one-year deal, right?
You don't think he could go to Aston?
I think he could go to Aston, but again, Aston are not firing Fernando or Lance for a one-year commitment.
Well, that's the thing.
It makes no sense to commit long-term to either Mercedes or Aston. It makes no sense to do that until you know the actual relative base of these cars.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you just are wanting him to be like a mercenary, he's not going to move once to move a second time. That's not who he is.
Yeah.
That's not what he seems to want out of F1. And no team is going to fire somebody that they actually have any respect for just to please His Highness.
Imagine Williams has a competitive car and they fire. Imagine Williams has a competitive car and they fire Carlos for Max, and then Alex has to be his teammate again.
I mean, and that's the other thing is like, are we for sure? I mean, I think Lewis is next. I think 26 is Lewis's last season. I think pretty firmly.
Shh! Don't say that.
I think, I don't know that McLaren is going to be long for the loser of this championship fight. Because next year will be
because it's going to be Lando, and they won't fire Lando.
But here's the thing, though. This is year 4 of this teammate pair.
Yeah, usually that's about the.
Lando and Oscar were to go into 2027 as teammates. That would be season 5. That's more than Mercedes got.
Yeah, 5 is usually.
Seb and Mark got together. That's what Seb and Kimi got together. Like, we're talking about long-established teammate duos. Get 5 years. Valtteri and Lewis only got 5. Like,
yeah, no, that is usually the upper limit of. But like, the thing is, Oscar is gonna win, and like, they're not gonna fire Lando.
But if Lando loses this year, and then Lando doesn't win next year, which I don't think he's going to do, because either McLaren have the fastest car and Oscar just beats him again, or, Mercedes deliver a car, and as you said, that would not be a title fight.
Right.
So it's like, are we sure Lando is just going to be kept there if he can't deliver?
I don't know. I mean, I think as long as he is doing good enough, they will. Because if
they're just committed to this like papaya family dream nonsense that badly.
Well, why would you rock the boat if it's working? You know what I mean? If you have Oscar winning, and like obviously Lando is a very popular driver, so like for their purposes, like it's not like he's useless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what happened? Yeah, what happens when George Russell wins the championship?
Like he's useless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what happened? Yeah, what happens when George Russell wins the championship next year and Lando comes like 4th?
When's his contract through?
I don't think we know with Lando's contract. Oscar's extended through 28. I know that's for sure.
Interesting.
Because Mark Webber keeps signing contracts before the one that Oscar is currently on is even kicked in.
Oh yeah. Well, I would love to hear from Mark Webber right now. Words that have never left my mouth before.
Was he on F1 TV this weekend?
I actually don't know, because I make a deliberate effort to avoid Mark Webber at all costs, but I might have to give it a hang on. When I'm done with this door, I might have to give it a Google and see if like fucking Mark Webber being Oscar's manager is like straight up like F1 is just so funny. Like, what do you mean Mark Webber's back? And what do you mean?
And what do you mean that they've created the closest thing to the Mark Seb teammate dynamic, except Mark's manager, except Mark's client is the Seb Vettel of this comparison.
Mark v Seb if they were both Mark.
Piastri is better than Mark Webber.
I think you're underselling Mark Webber. Mark Webber is good. He's just not.
Piastri already has as many race wins as Mark Webber.
Yeah, he also isn't driving against Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton and Jensen in that McLaren and Fernando in the Ferrari and Kimi in the Ferrari. Well, I don't know about his creepy wife being the brains of the operation, but
I'm just saying it is really funny that the like established guy at the team is getting usurped by the young uppity upstart, and Mark Webber now has to watch what happens to be on the other side of that dynamic. I'm just saying that's entertaining to me personally.
Yeah, he is on the other side of the dynamic.
And it's going to play out the exact same way.
Yeah.
In that Lando is this generation's Mark Webber.
Although I would argue that Lando is a closer to when it comes to like just their position in the team is closer to a Mark Webber because he's their guy, right? Like he came up. Right. Sorry. Because he came up through their program. Like he is.
He was the shining hope for all those, after the, GP2.
Yes.
After the GP2 engine era, like, yeah, I get all that.
Yeah.
When you stayed, when Carlos got poached.
I will say, I rewatched all of Drive to Survive the other day, just like because I needed something to put on. Lando Norris was like real life mad when Carlos left McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, his boyfriend left him.
Tough, but also like kind of wild. His Drive to Survive like sit down talking scenes were wild because I'm like, you have a press officer there with you, like he was going in.
One, you have a press officer there, and two, like those aren't filmed like live.
No.
Like that's always the thing with all of these, like with all these like reality shows, right? Like I'm an occasional Top Chef watcher, and it's like they're not recording these.
No, you had time to like sit down and like think about what you were gonna say.
Right. You're not pulled out of the challenge to do them. These are all recorded in like the span of like a 3-day stretch. I assume that's the same with Drive to Survive.
Right.
Like,
no, they film like for reality TV show confessionals, like they film them after, like well after the course of events. It is kind of crazy to me though. Like I will say, not to ride for Lando Norris, but he was so right about that situation. Why would anyone go to Ferrari? It continues to baffle me. But
I mean, in fairness, Carlos Sainz won a race before Lando Norris did.
True. But right, and who's to say that Carlos would have lasted at McLaren through like the doldrums, right? But I will say I love though that the clip now of him being like, I don't feel any sympathy for him. Why would I? The minute that happened, I thought that's gonna come. That is gonna be screenshotted and used forever. And I already see it like coming back around, like now that Lando is like obviously in a contentious championship fight. And even like last year with people just like when he was like when the commentary is like, oh, like you gotta feel for Lando in this situation, people just posting that clip. I'm like, yeah.
Whoever has 9, sorry, it's Danny Rick who has 8, my bad.
Yeah. I will.
Which, to be clear, Danny Rick winning 8 with the Renault engine is more impressive than. Like people are trying to use like raw win total, and it's like Danny Rick's 8 are worth more than like Valtteri's 10. Okay, I don't care.
Right? No, literally.
Because Valtteri won with WDC and WCC Mercedeses, and Danny Rick won with a McLaren. A McLaren that came 4th in the constructors, I think, that year. And then 7 Renault Red Bulls.
Right. No, yeah, and he had Max as a teammate, so it's not even like you can use the Lewis thing. Like he also had a very good teammate. Yeah, no, I am it's interesting to me, like that's the thing. Like Lando made himself a lot of enemies when he was not like of the drivers, like I doubt they give a fuck, but like like the Danny Rick fans remember that he.
Yeah. Why would I feel bad for him?
Yeah.
when he gets fired.
Seb, the Seb,
The weird really good Seb thing, Seb stuff.
The weird comments about Lewis, like multiple times, unprompted. Like,
it's not that impressive when you only have to be one other car.
Yeah, I'm like, to me, it's just crazy because it's like a lot of these are. I'm just like, why? You know what I mean? Like especially the Lewis thing. Like, he had just won. The context of that is crazy because he had just won his 7th title. Obviously, they're asking all the drivers about it. It's the easiest answer of all time. Like, even Fernando was like, "That's amazing. Like, hats off to Lewis. Like, you're."
Was it when he was winning the championship, or was it when he passed Schumacher's win record?
No, it was when he won his 7th after Turkey. And to be like, all you have to say is like, "That's amazing. Like, congrats, Lewis." Why? To be like, it's not that impressive, actually. Like, all he has to do is beat one other car. Like, it just, even if that's like secretly the way you feel in your heart, like, what do you gain by openly disrespecting Lewis Hamilton? You know what I mean? As a British driver. Like, it's so, like, the Max one in Brazil, I get, because that was a very poor and telling moment from Lando. He's frustrated, he's angry, like, that I get, right?
That's just like post-race frustration.
Right. It's a
every NFLer who said something stupid in a press conference,
Right. It's a bratty, and in my opinion, like, indicates to me that you don't have like the mental strength to be an F1 world championship if you're throwing tantrums after you just had a bad. But like, also, I don't know, like, that shit happens. Like, that is I that one, I at least get what went on there, right? The Lewis ones, and then the craziest one is when the other one where he's like, Lewis wouldn't be anywhere near the driver he is today if McLaren hadn't had a race winning car in 2007. They ask him about a quote Jensen said about that he's like surprised that he signed a long-term contract with McLaren, and he's randomly like, I could just be saying here because I like it. Like, look at Lewis. Like, he wouldn't be anywhere near the driver he is today if McLaren hadn't had a race winning car. And I'm like, it didn't even like have anything to do with the question he was being asked.
Fun game. Do you know how many cars the 2006 McLaren? How many races they won?
Zero.
And then Kimi Räikkönen is one of their drivers.
Right. So like, it just genuinely is like a little bit baffling. Like, right, he's wrong in that take, but like, even like, like, what? Like, where did that come from? Like, they ask him a question about Jensen's quote. Like, it's it, at no point was Lewis Hamilton brought up in this discussion. Like, it's so crazy.
And the correct answer, if you're Lando Norris, is just like, I believe in the project.
Right.
I'm comfortable with this team. I know that they will be the ones to bring us to the front. And I'm excited to be the driver that brings McLaren back to where they belong.
Right.
This story team, to take the story team back to where they belong.
Right. Not like, fuck Lewis Hamilton randomly. Like, he wasn't even a part of this conversation. What are you doing? And then the sad thing too, it's like, okay, if it was one dig, like, or joke, okay, fine. But like, in a 10-minute Girl the Grid video, there's 20 drivers, so you get what, like 30 seconds of airtime? Somehow he managed to squeeze in 3 digs at Sebastian Vettel. Like, did he wake up? Did he make a bet with someone? Like, did he wake up that day and be like, fuck Sebastian Vettel? Like, did Seb do something in his dream that pissed him off? Like, genuinely, what the fuck was that about? Like, it just makes absolutely no goddamn sense to me. I'm like, and so, like, of course it's not surprising that, like, when push comes to shove and now you're at the front, like, all the Lando fans are like, why does everybody hate Lando? And I'm like, well, he spent the last 5 years fucking collecting driver fan bases as enemies like Infinity Stones. Like, that's why. And it's just very bizarre to me, like, because a lot of the comments are just like even the Danny Rick ones, like, that makes total sense to me. Like he was clearly very, despite being in the vastly stronger position in the team, like it was so clear from the jump that he resented that everyone was like excited for the videos between him and Daniel, but also that he did not want to be little brothered by Daniel. And like from the start, he was like, I'm gonna make this like super uncomfortable for everybody in order to like prevent this from happening. But like even in the it was just so strange. But then to be like multiple times, he's like, "Oh well, I could have won Monza if I wanted to." Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, the answer is that he is a driver who is like very clearly has a chip on his shoulder, right? Like,
But about what? You grew like
the fact that he knows that he's not on the level that he's not quite on the level that he needs to be to achieve the thing that he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
I think if you gave Landon Norris Verge serum or whatever the truth potion from Harry Potter is, I don't think he thinks he's as good as Max Verstappen. I don't think he thinks he's as good as Lewis Hamilton. I don't even know if he thinks he's as good as Charles Leclerc and George Russell. And the thing is, he's always had a chip on his shoulder, you know, doing things like telling the Independent that, you know, he had a like mostly perfect second half of the season last year.
Okay.
Before Abu Dhabi, you won like 2 races. You had pole position like 5 or 6 times. You won 2 races. Like, what are we talking about?
He's just
position 5 times, and you won as many races as you didn't finish on the podium
with the fastest car, by the by.
The fastest car. Like, you know, what are we doing here? Like, that's the thing. You think that's a pretty perfect season if you don't think you're good enough. But the thing is, George Russell, okay, medium racer, you can't say that. And then it's like George Russell was basically like openly baiting Toto Wolff to hire Max against him. So clearly he thinks he's good enough.
Well, he's also not openly disrespectful of any literally like enter world champion here. And no, George has always been very staunchly pro Seb, so
George and Oscar both share a respect for the history of the sport, much of which Lando does not particularly. But I think the thing about George is that he has the correct. I hate this like mentality conversation that we're having, which is like, you know, bordering on just calling people like stupid and like or not, you know, or like whatever. But I think George has done a very admirable job of getting himself in a position where he genuinely thinks he's world champion in the future, and he thinks that's what he's going to do. Whether he will or not, who knows? But he rocked up to Mercedes and went, "Oh, you're giving me a chance to go against Lewis Hamilton."
yeah. I also hate I hate what the mentality discussion has been become because it's like at the end of the day, it is a fact that you need to have a certain amount of mental discipline to become a Formula One world champion. Period. Full stop. That has nothing to do with like how mentally ill you may or may not be. Like, it's honestly completely removed from that. Like, there have been plenty blatantly mentally ill Formula One drivers that have done very, very well. You know what I mean? But you need to be able to lock in when you're racing. And like, Lando clearly cannot do that. Like, he clearly is
medium racer I get that you're just trying to baby at this point. George Russell put a Williams on the front row of the grid. He's actually shit. Gimmick that you're doing is not going to work.
Yeah, George is not bad, but they my point is more like the Lando of it all is very no, I knocked my lamp over. I have so much painting to get done. It's so bad. Yeah. Wait. Okay. Hang on. Sorry. I was trying to skip through. I want to get to. Let's get to Charles's interview. Andrea, Liam.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Fred.
Mercedes never offered Lewis Hamilton a contract for 2026. Never. They were never prepared to give him a race seat for 26. That is a fact.
Hang on.
And McLaren didn't have an opening, and Red Bull weren't going to hire Lewis. And so, literally, Lewis's options were retire, go to Ferrari. And he made the obviously correct decision.
Hang on. Let's hear from Fred. Just when I've calmed myself down. I think it's a different story. We're in full control the first stint. No, but you know what it is because Charles knew what it was. Liar, liar, liar. Pants on fire. As he should be. No, I think it makes sense for them to do the two stop with Charles, but
Well, the thing is, like, if they hadn't, if Oscar undercut them and they leave Charles out,
yeah.
you, me, and everybody else
I would
screaming,
yeah.
bloody murder. What the hell are you doing?
No, I think the first pit stop was good. No, I want to know what Charles was talking about.
The real problem is that they pit Charles in no man's land, right? They didn't give him enough of a tire offset to Lando to make up for the fact that they were pitting behind it. You needed to go to where Oscar ended up hitting. That was when Charles needed to go. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered because of this jack damage, or whatever. Might not have ended up mattering in the end. But that was the second pit stop was much more the mistake than the first.
Yeah. I also am so like
Okay, fine. George put it on in P3 in quali in Russia that year. He scored 16 points in a Williams. He made Q3 multiple times in a car. Oh, you could say whatever. Nick Latifi never put that car into Q3.
Okay. Enough, but my thing is he is lying about not knowing what's going on with Charles because Charles was.
Yeah, Charles said that it was chassis damage. Unless they got Fred like right after the race.
But also, Charles says it was chassis damage. He's talking about the end. It was pre-second pit stop that Charles was like, "You know what you did."
Yeah, nobody knows what he's talking about there, though.
Right.
Like, but that wasn't what caused the. Whoa! What did George say about Charles' car?
Yeah, wait. Report back. We're about to listen to Charles. You know what? His hair looks great. Mm.
That's fascinating theory.
That is fascinating. But like even the chassis damage, he is saying that I thought it was something else, but there was chassis damage. But like I don't think the timeline of that adds up.
So yes, that is Mercedes speculation. I will say there are a handful of drivers on the grid who can generally kind of figure out what other teams are doing that way. And I would take that as at least a plausible theory from George.
Well, yeah, it's certainly more because we know the Ferrari drivers are gonna lie their asses off. So
right, we know the Ferrari drivers are gonna do it, but like George was behind Charles for quite a few laps. Like he clearly understands like the car stuff pretty well. That sounds plausible as a theory.
Yeah, well, especially considering the ride height issues that Ferrari has had all year.
Exactly. So that's what makes me think. That's what makes me think there may be something to that. And I think that is something. Because presumably a lot of these teams are, especially with this era of cars, like have been trying to solve the exact same problems, which is how low can you drive? How low can you set the car down?
Right.
Without running into plank wear issues. And what do you have to do to make that work? And so presumably in some aero meeting in Mercedes at some point in the last 3 years, they were like, well, what if we did something with the tire pressure to allow us to run low and that would protect the plank? And they either did it and it didn't work out well, or they didn't. And, because they realized that was a bad idea. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Mercedes had this exact conversation, especially when they were dealing with the porpoising
Right.
stuff and having to run the car higher in 22.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. And also, so like he got chassis damage because they were running the car too low, pretty much. That
would also explain the idea of why there would be chassis damage. Yeah.
Right. Because like, yeah, nothing happened outwardly that we would see to indicate that Charles had damage. It's so strange.
And he also locked up right out of the. Was that on that? No, that was on his first. Never mind. That was after his first pit stop.
Yeah.
And he locked up immediately. Never mind.
It's so.
No, that was on his first. Never mind. That was after his first pit stop.
Yeah.
And he locked up immediately. Never mind.
It's so. Oh, Ferrari. Flop Ferrari. Never change. They'll always be like this.
So the more diabolical thing than the porpoising was the fact that all the drivers kept falling at the bottoming.
No, I was obsessed with the era where they just kept talking about everyone bottoming all the time. That was so fun.
Like, dude, is it that all of you are enlightened people and you know what that means and you don't care, or are all of you people so sheltered that you don't know what that means?
You have to. Who doesn't know what bottoming means?
I don't know.
Have you never?
I assume they know, but like.
I mean, okay, I feel like Crofty and Brundle, like maybe not, because like that's also the generation of people that like didn't really talk about sex. You know what I mean? But the drivers themselves, I'm sorry, there ain't no way that you don't know what fucking bottoming is. Like, there's Max Verstappen with your grinder notifications. Like, I don't even want to hear it. I know you know what bottoming is.
God, the fun thing about, like, I love that we get the radios so much.
Oh,
Occasionally we'll get like a mic'd up thing in hockey, but we'll get a compilation like after the fact, and like it's funny to hear like star players who got a penalty, like, you know, tell the refs to like go fuck themselves or whatever.
yeah.
But like I remember, I think this was Monza 23. I think it was Monza 23 when they were trying to tell George to like manage his tires, and he's like, "I've got a Red Bull on my ass. Gotta have to worry about that." And it's just like, oh, I love you, George. Like, I love the just side of like the snark of a driver. But also, I love when Max in, I think it was Coda 21 was like, tell Checo to go long, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love when lead drivers are like trying to like run the strategy. I love Lewis just being like, tell Valtteri to just fucking follow me, right?
Right.
Not like you said fucking, but like you get the point.
Lewis would never swear on radio. Lewis is fucking disciplined at every moment. But
my favorite thing is they bleeped Lewis twice. Zandvoort 22 when the 2-stop 1-stop thing happened and George pit out from behind him on. When Lewis was in the lead because we didn't pit for new tires on a safety car. Remember when they left Yuki out without the seatbelt attached properly?
Yes, Charles also did that at one point in Spain 19, I think. Maybe it was 20.
But yeah, so Lewis, they like bleep Lewis's radio message, and it sounds like he's like full, and you assume that he's like full swearing at the team, and it's like, this is like such fucking, this is like, so frustrating, man. And that's what they bleeped. It was like something so totally benign, and I'm like, I definitely thought he was saying, such fucking, like,
yeah,
bullshit or something,
They,
And I'm like, I definitely thought he was saying, such fucking, like,
yeah,
bullshit or something,
They, no, the bleeping always makes it sound so much more dramatic than like the actual swear word.
Yeah.
I also like I love the team radios because it's just like we have, and not just us, but like the commentary and like the post analysis as well. We just have so much more information than we used to. You know what I mean? Like they and it's great for us, bad for Ferrari, because it makes it so, and you can tell that Ferrari hasn't totally adjusted their comm strategy to people having the radio, even though we've had it for like 5 years now. But they because they'll straight up lie about shit that like is very obvious on the radio. Like earlier this season when they were like, yeah, that was the team's decision to bring Lewis in. Meanwhile, Lewis was like, I'm pitting and give me hard tires. I'm like, you realize that like that's public information. Like it's we can hear the team on the radio being like, I don't know if we're gonna pit, and Lewis being like, well, I do. I'm fucking pitting and give me hard tires.
The funniest one for me will forever be Hungary 22 because.
Sorry, do you mean the worst day of my life?
Because that was the first F1 race I watched where a team made like a big error, and I could, as it was happening, go, "What are they doing?" Because when because Charles had done 2 mediums, and then they just follow Max into the pits when that was absolutely not the move. You needed to go long and then you needed to see track position and then get it back with a soft tire at the end. It was a tire delta, exactly what Mercedes did with Lewis, and exactly what Ferrari did with Carlos, right?
What a coincidence.
Like, they just, for some reason, pulled him in when Max came in, who Max was running another medium, so he could go to the end.
Right.
And this is like lap, I want to say 40 or 70,
yeah.
something like that. And even then, I was like, I thought that was like a little early for Max to be brought back in, like to be brought in for a second stop. Like, I was like, oh, that's even a little early. I would have gotten to like the low 40s. So, you know, but like in the moment, as I hear Ted being like, Ferrari are in the pit lane.
No,
what?
That was when I did my race watch-alongs, and sometimes I go back and just watch it because I literally was like, I start bugging out because I'm like, it's way too early to pit him. Like, what are they doing? Because I'm assuming that they're pitting him for softs because all weekend, the hard tires are terrible. The hard tires are terrible. The hard tires are terrible. The hard tires.
I don't remember which team, but one of Alpine and McLaren, I think it was Alpine, but I could be wrong, we're trying to do a medium hard one stop, okay? And they're just sinking down the order.
Yes.
They're just shitting it up.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. And like Crafty and Bundle are just in the comms box. They don't go, hard tires ain't any good.
Right. They're like, why would he put them on the hards? They've been terrible all weekend. Blah, 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 blah. So
it's an ice rink. It's also an ice rink in Hungary, basically.
Right. And
it's cloudy. It's cold. The threat of rain's coming at any moment.
Yeah.
And they're just being like, well, the Alpine tried something and it didn't work. Lol.
And I'm sitting there, and so I'm bugging out because I'm like, why the fuck are they pitting him? It's way too early. And then I see those fucking white stripes, and my face on the reaction is just like, it's the sheer, like, I instantly knew. Like, my eyes go wide. I was like, no! And, like, the fact that, like, I, as someone who literally can't even drive or do math, knew instantly that it was the wrong choice.
This was like my 5th F1 race that I had watched live.
And then Mattia Binotto gets on fucking Sky Sports afterwards, and with a straight face is like, we didn't make a mistake. We went for something with the hards and it didn't work out, but like, you gotta try.
No, what happened is that you were just like, if Max boxes, we have to pit Charles, and then did not realize that you couldn't run, that you weren't on the same tire strategy as him.
No, I think what happened is that they intentionally sabotaged Charles to advantage Carlos Sainz, and you'll never get to see otherwise.
Except the thing about Carlos is that he still came like 4th.
Yeah. No, it was.
He wasn't even like close. He got the preferential strategy because it ended up being the medium, soft was fastest. That's how Lewis went from 10th to 2nd.
Right.
It turned out that was better because the softs were more useful at low fuel, and you could gain more in that phase than you lost by being.
Which was the strategy that Charles was on.
Correct. That was the point.
Oh.
That was, and George even said, he was on pull that weekend. He even said, like, well, we thought it was gonna rain a little bit at the beginning of the race, and I just wanted that little bit extra grip. And he said basically he thought he could, go off into the distance a little bit because those guys wouldn't have the grip because it was a little bit,
slippery.
Yeah, it was like a little bit wet. So he thought he could build a gap, and then the fact that they would have softs later wouldn't really hurt him that much. And he was like, yeah, it barely ended up raining at all, and like it didn't end up giving me the grip I wanted at the front.
Right.
So it didn't work out on the back end, shit happens. But, like, he acknowledged that if they had known it was a dry, that it was going to be essentially a full dry race, with no drops of rain of any kind, that he would have gone medium, soft, which is what Lewis did.
Right.
But it was just like, that one for me was just like, it was a massive mistake. It's such a bad mistake, by the way, they ended up having to pit him again. don't forget, they ended up 3 stopping him.
I don't forget.
The funny thing is they could have tried to hang him out there for 4th or 5th.
They really couldn't have, though. Like, he was literally dropping like a fucking rock. Like, they actually had to pit him again, but
yeah,
criminal malpractice. Criminal. And the fact that Binotto had the balls to get up there and be like, what are you talking about? We didn't make a mistake. I almost want to go to hell just so I can torment him.
So the really funny thing, of course, is that 2 weekends after was Ferrari only bringing 3 tires for Carlos's pit stop, and it's just like these people are still.
No, that was Charles. That was Charles because he was in. Remember, he was in the pit lane, and they were like, because this is what pisses me off when people are like, well, Charles needs to take control of the situation. Like, he needs to be his own strategist, which is like not how it should have to be, by the way, but whatever. But the minute he does, he's like, I'm pitting. And Xavi is like, stay out, stay out. Bitch, he's in the pit lane. Like, we're past that. And he gets to his pit and they have 2.5 tires ready for him.
I mean, because the thing about Monaco, like, I didn't really appreciate how much of a travesty Monaco 22 was. Like, I knew it sucked, obviously, but like,
I'll never.
I just thought that was like, oh, again, this is like the 3rd F1 race I had watched live in my life. Actually, it was number 2 that I watched live in my life, and 3rd that I had watched all the way through.
I'm pretty sure that I had to delete that video or it got taken down because I said I wanted to kill Binotto with hammers. Oops.
But there was this classic, hilarious thing. But for me, so I just viewed it's a wet race, things happen, it sucks, but like I get it. Yeah, I'm talking Zandvoort 22. Was that not Carlos that got screwed with the 10-second pit stop because they had?
Oh, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I might be conflating 2 things. It's probably 2 separate events that they both.
It definitely is.
Love that there was a situation where Ferrari didn't have the tires ready 2 separate times that year, so that's sick.
Yeah, no, like Monaco, I just kind of wrote off as like, shambolic situation. You're trying to manage 2 cars, whatever. And then I experienced the rest of Ferrari 2022.
Yeah, and then you were like, oh no, these people are actually really, really bad at operating a Formula 1 team.
I mean, for me, it really was Hungary because it's like, I literally, like, I don't even go here. Like, this is not my department. And even I have figured out that you were making a mistake.
Yeah, everybody. A fucking goldfish could have told you because they were literally 40 seconds. Like, listen to the commentary because 40 seconds before they pitted Charles for hard tires, the commentary were laughing at or whoever it was. I think
it was Alpine because Danny Rick pulls a double overtake, and they go like, "Well, a classic Danny Rick," and then it's like, yeah, but like, let's not pretend, they're on hard tires, they're sitting ducks, basically. Yeah,
they were giggling on the broadcast about how
it was their running joke. When these guys find a team decision they don't like, that they find to be stupid, they fucking let you know it 14 ways to Sunday.
Right. But
just by continuously bringing it up, by continuously going in on it, like,
I remember the Martin Brundle commentary, them realizing that they had put hard tires on the Ferrari is one of the funnier bits of commentary of all time because Ted's like, they've gone for hards, and Martin Brundle's like, no, look again, like they didn't go for hards, and Ted's like, no, I'm telling you, like they went for hard, like they're so befuddled in that moment that Ferrari.
Ted agrees with Brundle so much that he's not even offended Like Brundle being like, no, you have to be wrong.
Yeah. No, he's like, no, I was also stunned. Like they chose our tires. And
it's really giving 2007 Fuji vibes.
it is giving 2007 Fuji vibes. That I still maintain is, I will say, Ferrari 2007 Fuji, I think, is the worst mistake Ferrari's ever made. Just because I'm like, the craziest part about Fuji to me is like, okay, let's pretend he sent an email, but let's pretend
12 fucking times in that race.
right. And also, like, did you think you were like, okay, but even if they had gotten away with it, which they were never going to get away with it, but let's pretend that they had gotten away with it. Even if you didn't have to start on wet tires, which again, they definitively did, the Inters weren't, that was still a terrible decision. It could not have been physically raining harder. Like, if you went to freaking, I don't know, what's a hurricane prone place? Fucking Florida in the middle of a hurricane, it would not have been wetter than it was on that track at that time. Like, it could not possibly have been raining harder. And they were like, you know what, we're gonna take this insanely risky choice that like is inevitably, like, there was no way that was ever gonna work out. But even if it had worked out, they still would have been completely screwed because they would have been out there on Inters. Like, what?
Counterpoint, Singapore 2008.
No, that's the other, like, true.
Singapore 2008 actually cost Felipe Massa.
Right. Kimi still won.
Yeah, because Kimi's just that kind of legend.
Well, and Fernando Alonso was having a mental breakdown and was so busy because people are like, oh, the McLarens took points away from each other. I'm like, I don't think the problem is that they were like finishing 1 and 2. I think the problem is that it got to the point where they were actively trying to sabotage the other. Like, how about that? You know what I mean? Like, let's not actively work against each other here, lads. But also no, and the worst part of 2000, the thing is 2008, that kind of stuff happens, right? Like, that to me is less egregious because it wasn't like they obviously, that wasn't an intentional choice that they made. Like, the tires, they deliberately decided to do that for some reason. But after
but the video of them just like of all the Ferrari mechanics just like trundling down the pit
lane. It's the funniest F1 related video of all time. Like, the video of them and the McLaren mechanics cheering, like, F1's the best. Like, you really can't beat it. But it's so stupid. But also after, I thought it was Stefano Domenicali, but I don't think it, upon rewatch, I don't think it is. But the fact that their comms guy, this poor, I think it's Natalie, but I can't 100% tell because they don't show the person. But the fact that they're like, did something go wrong with like the releasing system? Like, we saw the green light. He screams at her, doing her job, by the way, screams at her and is like, I can't believe you're talking about whose fault it was. Someone could have died. Like, you're so terrible. And I'm like, first of all, that's her job. Second of all, okay, yeah, someone could have died. The same is true of every single time something happens in Formula One. Like, that statement is also true. Like, so are we just not going to talk about when Max shoves, like, or whoever, when someone gets a penalty, are we not going to, or there's a racing incident, are we not going to talk about whose fault it was because someone could have died? That is a great point, Laser Talk. If someone could have died, it's even more important to know who's at fault. Like, and I'm like, but also, like, that's true of every single thing that happens in Formula One, especially during the refueling era. Like, my biggest ick in the world is when people are rude to the marshals and or reporters who are literally there to do a job, and like, and something has gone wrong for you and you're taking your anger out on this like poor random civilian who like has nothing to do with it and who is like actually like required to do what they're doing right now. it's just the biggest. I think to me that's like shows like the biggest like lack of class in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you know how you cannot be asked about your cripplingly stupid failure,
Not fail.
not commit a cripplingly, decisive failure that ends up costing you a champion.
Right. And it's like I obviously I feel for them. Like I understand that it sucks, but like the public perception of what's going on is part of it. Do you like your $15 million salary? Okay, then you're going to have to answer a few questions after, because guess those sponsors are only paying because people are watching, right? Like in order for this whole thing to tick, you actually do need comms and marketing. Ask Bernie Ecclestone, he's the one who cracked the code. So like it also,
How does Max Verstappen think his $60 million salary or whatever is being paid?
do you like your $15 million car that you get to drive, Max Verstappen? Okay, then shut up and wave on a platform. That's the other thing. It's like Max Verstappen had to go to a work dinner and he like threw a tantrum about it. It's like, okay, like I get that you don't want to be here. I'm just trying to imagine if I acted like Max Verstappen every time I had to do a work related extracurricular activity, I wouldn't have a job. You know what I mean? Like,
And you are also not paid nearly as well as Max.
no. In fact, I am not paid anywhere close to the $30 million a year that Max Verstappen is being paid. So maybe it's also like,
I don't know. Actually, it's way more than 30.
right. And so
George is about to make like 30 million pounds on his new work deal, and Max makes way more.
we should make them submit expense reports. I'm pretty sure Max would quit. Like, there's absolutely no way. And
What do you think's the weirdest restaurant an F1 driver would submit a receipt from if they could get to the team for?
Well, they're definitely like all going to strip clubs after the race because they have that like bro. I know for a fact that Red Bull is a strip club team, so never forget when Sebastian Vettel told this story about Red Bull taking him to a strip club after his first win, which is kind of weird because he was like very young, but whatever. I think he was 18, so like whatever, but he saw two girls kissing and it made him so uncomfortable that he had to. Okay, Sam. Whatever you say.
Speaking of the Korean Grand Prix, thank you for this.
Segue.
Opportunity. What the hell is that intro video?
They used to.
I watched it 1,000 times. I'm still not prepared for Nico Rosberg.
No, the mask.
Never prepared for Nico Rosberg.
The way nobody else has a prop, like the way he is old. No, they used to do like sometimes they used to do like special intros for races, and I'm gonna need them to bring it back. Like it's too good. It's too.
The fact that people had a meltdown that they used the F1 movie score as the theme music last week was the most hard no. Guys, you can just listen to the music yourself. It's fine. It's a one-off gimmick. It's the first one since the movie was really because they were going to do that shit at Silverstone.
Yeah, fuck no.
So it's like this is the first opportunity to do it. Let us have some fun. We all love the fucking the Mexican mariachi band.
Yeah, because I love mariachis. I don't love Brad Pitt. Mariachis have never beaten their. Well, I'm sure a mariachi person in a band has beat their child at some point, but you know what I mean.
But just how about we just have some fun?
Yeah, I think people are just haters of the movie, which I respect and support.
Do you respect and support that? You haven't seen the movie yet, have you?
Nope. I don't plan on it.
Do you want to watch it together when it's
Yeah, but I need it to be. I'm not contributing my dollars. I need it to be available publicly on stream. Because I think
Hans Zimmer is great. I haven't watched the movie, so I don't know how he is in that one. But Hans Zimmer's the guy.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with them doing it. If it was Oh, it's absolutely got Apple TV Plus, and it's gonna have made like netted Apple like $0 for this whole endeavor. It's gonna get like 5 million people to sign up for Apple TV, and then they'll find out that actually the Apple TV like TV show library is actually pretty good, and it'll be worth it for them, despite the fact that it's not going to be a theatrical success.
It just to me is like it's just the story of cars. And I'm like, okay, like, don't get me wrong, like, there's a time and place for like generic sports movie, but I just feel like that time and place isn't in F1. Like F1 is so chaotic and unhinged that it almost feels out of place to do this basic bitch ass movie in the setting of Formula One. You know what I mean?
So can I make the case for why? Not for why this movie is good. Again, I haven't seen it. Don't care about Brad Pitt. Whatever. Why I think an F1 movie, F1 would be a fantastic, pardon the pun, vehicle for such an endeavor.
Yeah.
The great sports movies are not about the sports.
Right.
They are about taking sort of what you think you know, and like, oh, there's like a season, and there's like, and there's like a championship fight or whatever, and adding something to it, be it, old guy going for, old guy facing his mortality, or a young hotshot, whatever. Just make somebody gay.
Agree. Hard agree.
Do that. Make, so like I'm like working on it. I'm working on like a book right now, and it's like gay Ferrari driver. They didn't realize he was gay when they hired him, and some things happen, and it's like the racing will be interesting, but the interpersonal dynamics will be far more interesting. And like Friday Night Lights, people don't love Friday Night Lights because they really love the football scenes,
Well, and that's like, it's so funny that the hardos try to be like, oh, well, like, I'm just watching this movie for the racing. Like, well, then go on fucking F1TV.com then, bro. Like, if you want to watch racing, like, what? I'm like,
yeah, just watch racing.
Right. Like, you realize that you can do that, like, without a movie. Like, there's.
Like, if you're engaging in a fictional sporting premise.
Right.
Then you are watching it because, like, Friday Night Lights is all about, like, family and overcoming obstacles, and, like, it's about much more than
yeah, and it's also about, like,
there's a reason why Connie Britton is everybody's favorite character on the show, despite the fact that she has, like, probably the least to do with the football.
Right.
Any of the main characters.
Right. And my thing about, like, Friday Night Lights is kind of giving outsiders, it's a unique glimpse into, like, it's about the culture of Texas high school football, right? Which,
and the effect it has on the broader
right
town.
And how, right, exactly, and how
the story of Dillon, Texas, told through
through the
story about high school football.
Right, exactly. And like, to me, the story of like old man tries to make a comeback is just not interesting enough to make a 3-hour movie. You know what I mean?
Okay, but it was like, the thing is that, like, we don't need a racing version of a movie and a story that we've heard 1,000 times before. Like, this is just Brad Pitt having a crisis of his own, about his own mortality, right?
Right.
But, like, just go be, like, this movie isn't any different to me than, like, a lawyer who's, like, worried he's being pushed out, taking a high-profile case just to, like, prove he's still got it in him, or journalist, trying to, break this one last story.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's the same thing. It's just a different representation of it. And if you're going to spend $250 million, if not more, and you're going to go to all the sites, and you're going to make Charles Leclerc and George Russell race in Abu Dhabi after Charles loses the constructors, and then redo a podium like 5 times.
Ooh.
Like fake racing.
The screenshots from that are so funny because the way George is like putting his ass into it, like he's acting, he's doing it, and Charles looks like a wet cat. Like he's so mad to be there. Like you could just tell that Charles would rather be anywhere else in the well, and I also think that like obviously
they had to do it then because they needed the crowd shot.
Right. And my thing with the movie is like why I can't forgive it for having a boring story in the way that I maybe could if it was about a lawyer or something else is that like F1 has such a plethora of like rich, wildly entertaining, poignant, deep, meaningful stories to choose from. So if you're gonna make one,
if you wanted to go authentic, for sure, yeah, you could do Mercedes, or you could do Prost and Senna,
or even go further back, like go to the era where like you're Sir Jackie and you've decided you're like everyone around you is dying and like you have to like wrestle with like why it is that you do this. You know what I mean? And like there are just so many Prost and Senna, like there are just so many great tales to be told on both an individual and like a macro level that like I'm like to go with like the most generic story ever. I'm like yawn.
Well, and it's just like, and that's again, if they are committed to like a real story. If you want to be committed to a fake one, again, make somebody gay and have them navigate having to go to places where homosexuality is illegal. Have them go to whatever. Hell, put a woman on the grid. You know.
Let's not get too crazy.
No, but like up and coming, you know, like up and coming, you know, female star, somebody takes the bold risk and puts her in the car, like
Yeah.
do something interesting, entertaining, something that will illuminate, that will get good emotional performances out of people, and will make it an interesting dynamic. You make a driver for Ferrari gay. You've got the Italian press and the Italian fans freaking out because like Catholicism and all that jazz. You've got how the rest of the group responds.
Right.
You can have a relationship, because that would be presumably the instigating plot is, he gets caught with a guy.
Yeah, my thing is like it is just so they just made live action Cars, and I don't think we needed live action Cars.
In fairness, did we need Cars in the first place?
Hey, there will be no Cars slander around.
So the extent of which I have seen Cars is I saw a TikTok clip of one of the championship deciding races, and he just Lightning McQueen just decides to not win to push the other guy over the line first.
Well, it's a children's movie, Evan. It's about, there are some things that are bigger than winning, all et cetera, et cetera. But
was that even Cars? Was that even Cars 1?
No. Okay,
cool.
But well, the most interesting things to me about Cars is the Cars cinematic universe and like the implications of a car pope and all of that stuff.
So here's my question.
What sports movie has there been about someone who's secretly gay? That has never been done. I've seen a lot of sports.
One, not in sports. And two, yeah, there's been a few of them. But it's mostly that the plot is that they're gay. And then it's just will the family love them or not? Can they keep the relationship secret? When you just kind of yada through that shit. My thing is just yada through the fact that they're in a relationship, and just be oh shit, the world has just exploded.
Yeah. I cannot think of a gay sports movie off the top of my head, but
there isn't one.
But my thing with the Cars is endless.
No. Do the Cars have life insurance or car insurance?
I think it's the same thing in the cinematic universe. But I
just would love to know who the like car insurance officer is.
No,
that's what we need.
Because there was a clip going around, and I'm so happy that someone else said it because I've always thought about this, that the existence of a car pope and also his little nose icon is a cross. So that means that there was a car Roman Empire that crucified car Jesus somehow. And the existence of a car Roman Empire like is fascinating to me. Like but also that means that like there are Jewish cars, because in order for there to be Catholic cars, there have to have at least at some point been Jewish cars. You know what I mean? This implies
is Cars responsible for Sebastian Vettel ruining his career by going to Ferrari?
No, that's Michael Schumacher.
But are we sure it's not Lightning McQueen?
Could be. No, because he's not. They're not. It's not F1. It's IndyCar. I think it's supposed to be at least.
But isn't the mechanic thing like a Italian?
Well, that's Cars too when he goes to the European circuit.
Oh, okay.
Cars Inquisition. There was a Cars Inquisition. Like I need to know. I want a Cars story, not.
So was there a Cars? So does this mean that there was a Cars Mark Luther?
We don't know because we've only seen the Pope. So like maybe they didn't diverge in that manner. But
so the Reformation.
There was a
Reformation happened in the Cars cinematic universe.
But they're American, so there was a Cars revolutionary.
So the Reformation.
There was a
Reformation happened in the Cars cinematic universe.
But they're American, so there was a Cars Revolutionary War. Like I want more Cars verse stories.
Was there a Cars Civil War though?
Was there car slavery? Like I don't know because do cars have races? But like also, yeah, there's so many questions. You know what I mean? Like so many questions to be answered because also the existence of a car Roman Empire, the merchant class in Rome was called the equites because it originally was the people that had enough money to buy a horse to be in the cavalry. How did the lack of cavalry impact the course of history? Like, I feel like that would be major. But also, was the Cars world more isolated? Because I feel like they would be more hesitant to get on ships because they could just drive around. You know what I mean?
Yes. Jesus Christ.
No, it's fascinating when you really start thinking about how us being cars would have impacted the course of human history. And the fact that they threw the car Pope in there. It's my Roman Empire. I can't it's all I think about.
Is there a car jail?
Right. What is the car?
If Australia still exists as a British penal colony, can cars go to jail?
Yeah, I would assume yes. Because
in car jail, do you have like a roommate?
I don't know, man. Do you think it's just like a cage? Like, do you think they're even inside?
Do you think it's just like a parking lot?
That's so true. There are car judges. Are they jailed or impounded? These are the questions that I'm asking. Like, the Cars cinematic universe, they could make 1,000 car movies and it would not be enough for me. I fucking love Cars. And
you know what movie they should make?
What?
Cars Conclave.
What is? Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm writing a Cars Conclave fanfic. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me.
Lightning McQueen becomes the Pope.
Lightning McQueen becomes the Pope. First American Pope. Let's go. That is Hospital at the Garage. That's a great question. That is a great question. I would assume.
Do you need health insurance, or is it just car? Does your car insurance cover your health insurance?
Well, it's also interesting to me, like, do the cars have, because there's a car Pope mobile where the car Pope is in the Pope mobile, implying to me that cars have cars. Is this is this a legacy of car slavery?
Is this carception?
Oh, it's definitely carception. It's so, I can't, it's all I think about. It's my favorite topic in the whole world.
Apparently, I need to watch Cars.
No, you have to, because once you start thinking about it, everyone being cars, and there's baby cars. How do the cars fuck? How do the cars fuck? Are they, or do they not fuck? Are they asexual beings? But you wouldn't really think that, because Sally the Porsche is clearly like meant to be hot. So like there is some level of sexual attraction present in the cars. So summer break cars watch along, we might have to do that. We might have to do that, because I just want to know how the cars fuck, and I know that there are multiple car fanfics that I could probably read to see other people's thoughts on the matter. And I might have to do that, just because I am like, do you think they buy a baby car and assemble it and then it grows into a regular car, or do female cars give birth?
So again, I have watched what appears to be 4 minutes of Cars 2. Do we think anybody wrote a Seb-Shaw fic
Were there
based on
cars?
the ending? Based on the ending,
There should be more. There should be more. And I know people are like, be the change you want to see in the world, but like I have actual things that I need to be doing with my time. But the fact that Lando and Oscar were on the AO3 Top 100 this year, I'm disappointed in all of you. I'm disappointed in all of you.
Can I get a take off about that list? That's nothing to do with that one.
Yes.
Very interesting to see a resurgence in James and Lily this year. Jumped James and Regulus.
Really?
Yes. Like 15-point increase, 15 ranking point increase for James and Lily.
Oh my God, can I say my take about, because of course the same discourse that happens every year, which is like, why aren't there any lesbians on this? Which, like, there are lesbians on that, just so we're clear. But like obviously there are more gay ships, and I'm like, have we considered, like, the reason there's more MLM pairings than WLW pairings is because there are far many good far many more good male characters than there are female characters. Like, that's, especially like, to be fair, like Harry Potter's the only one that I really have like an in-depth knowledge of, but like there are like four there are like four female characters in all of Harry Potter. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. Um and like they're like, but also I would imagine that that's pretty consistent over, especially because a lot of these pairings that are on the top 100 are from like legacy media. Like, it's giving, why aren't there any female pairings in Supernatural? It's like, well, there's two main characters and both of them are men, so like that's probably why. Duh.
And I think like some of this discourse is just like it is just like a bit of a snowball thing of like, if you are a big fandom, like if you are a big fan that people read the fandom, then they want to write their version of that in the fandom. Like, it's,
Yeah, for sure.
But also, and then the other thing is, of course, is that a lot of the RPFs are sports.
Right.
Maybe not in the top 100. I mean, there are a few F1s, but like, even in, whatever, it's like a lot of this is people wishing their favorite male athletes, were fucking. And it's like, if a pair, like, I don't know, if a pair actually came out as gay, I wouldn't like write fanfic about them anymore.
Right.
And I think that's what happens slightly with some of the women's sports like fandoms. Like, I don't need, like, reading RPF of like Meg Rapinoe and Stu Bird would feel super weird.
Yeah, because it's like, right, it's like real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then I'm like joking about people who actually like, do live together, and like, whatever. It's like, no, like it's the fun of it is that I don't like, is is that Connor and Leon are not actually fucking as much as we want to joke that they are.
Also, like, some of us are out here writing novel-length Blair and Serena fanfics, so stop complaining and get typing. Some of us are writing lesbian fanfic, okay? But right, like, why isn't there any lesbian fanfic in Formula One? Like, it seems a pretty obvious answer to myself personally.
Here's the real answer. We just need to make we you know what ship we should have more of in F1 AO3?
Bro, say jail. You need to be put in jail for that. I'm reporting you to the Catholic Church. What the fuck? Absolutely not. Prison immediately. I
knew that was going to get the reaction. And if I do it, I baited you.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, PDR Karoon fans? No, here's my wish list. Where is my James Val's
I was kidding, just to be clear.
Thank God. Where is my James Val's Toto Wolff fanfic? Where is it?
The thing is, once William, a Toto James Val's fanfic, and that's taking place during an Alex George title fight.
Hell yes.
Mercedes engine just turns into a wagon. McLaren fall off.
Yes. I just feel
it's like a 2021 level, like this title fight is getting nasty and dirty and oh my God.
Yes.
Why were you? I knew that I was going to be able to bait you pretty well with that. I'm stunned by how well I baited you with Crofty and Brundle.
If Crofty and Brundle started dating, I would become homophobic. Although it would follow the trend. It is okay. Again, I feel so much sympathy for Ralph Schumacher. I can only imagine what it was like to grow up as Michael Schumacher's little brother and also have to be secretly gay on top of that. But it is.
Are you meant to say that if Crofty and Brundle came out, it would extend the trend of all the worst people in F1 being gay?
Yes. It is objectively a little bit funny that everyone in the world was so ready to be yes, gay F1 driver, we stand representation, it's amazing. And then it was Ralph Schumacher and everyone was like, oh, congrats. Everyone was like, oh.
Oh my God, I guess we're doing that. Yay, congrats.
We're like, yay. It would be funny though if it kept going on and it was all of the worst people ever started coming out as gay in F1. It's Bernie Ecclestone next. No.
Michael Massey.
That would be.
Who else would elicit that reaction? I don't feel like I know Esteban's Laura. Esteban's person. I don't feel like I know anything about her yet.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her either. I like all.
I mean, it seems like she's doing well. I think Haas is doing great. Esteban's strategies seem to generally be on point. But give me a little bit more of her, just to as a quote unquote character in this story that we're living in.
Right.
Something.
I will. Great song.
Helmet. Can it turn out that
on overturn we need to ban gay marriage just for them. Nobody else. I want everybody else to be able to get married, not them. I think that much evil should not be allowed to coexist in one household. That's dangerous. We have to think about public safety. We really have to think about public safety. Think of the children. Think of the children. If Jos Verstappen came out as gay, I would kill myself, I think. But luckily, I don't think that would happen. But he seems to enjoy beating the women in his life too much to ever date a man. It would make that a little bit harder, you know? You'd have to really. Helmet Margot would be fucking crazy. Horner, that's Horner's like comeback arc.
I mean, so what? He divorces whichever Spice Girl he married and shacks up with a boyfriend?
Yeah. That would be bad. That would be bad. No, it's gotta. We already we were so nice to Ralph Schumacher, even though he's the worst person alive. We deserve a good gay representation in Formula One. Not someone. It can even be someone evil, but like not someone so evil that I like. I'm like, I can't come around to standing you. You know what I mean?
It also needs to be somebody without kids. Respectfully, I can't even joke about. I do find it's a little harder for me to joke about what's happened at this point because it's like Max was a kid.
Yeah. Well, Max is also a victim, so it's like a little bit. That whole situation is like a little bit.
We just don't talk about it. We just don't talk about that.
Well, but my thing is like when I talk about any of them, I don't actually think that they're conducting some like clandestine affair. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's like, you know.
I mean, in fairness, would Alex and George even qualify as an affair at this point, given that Carmen and Lily seem to like each other more than they like their boyfriends?
Yeah, and also that's the other thing. Like you never know what people's like actual relationships are behind the scenes. So like you but I'm also like, to me it's more just like a fun, like it's fun to like imagine the what if of it all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Oh no, we lost him.
Oh, sorry, I'm back now.
Oh, okay.
The worst thing is when people try and like shoehorn in a reason, like a reason that the real life partner isn't in a fic or they like separate or whatever.
No, I hate that. Just pretend that they don't exist. Like that. I don't want this. It should be very disconnected from reality. You know what I mean?
Or it's like I knew I was gay at 16 and like she's just a friend or whatever.
Right.
Like they can be a character even. But, yeah. Like, it's got to be like, it's just got to be that simple. Like you can't give me a big backstory.
No.
Like none of this like secretly having an affair bullshit. Like,
no. Yeah, that would be, even though that's like probably the most realistic option. Like I don't want this to be realistic. Like I'm here for. No, it reminds me of like the Larry Silenson of it all, when as soon as like they started like hating their girlfriends and being like Louis' kid isn't really his, I was like, oh, you guys were serious. Like I didn't. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's like, oh, whatever. Like, okay, fine, sure.
Like, I just like to think about them kissing. Like I don't know. I'm 14. I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, and like I think people are like, oh, whatever, you're being weird. And it's like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But like, me making a joke about like, the Edmonton molecule, those who know, or like, like or Alex George.
Okay, but they live together.
Girlfriends, like, in a quadruple or whatever. It's like that's like a funny bit.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Carmen is not like secretly suffering from me being like, it seems like she likes Lily more than she likes George.
Yeah, like I think she'll be all right. She's like very smart and beautiful and successful.
And also dating, like somebody who's about to be making like 30-ish million pounds a year and gets to live in Monaco and
Yeah, I will say the like discourse of it all is so funny to me, because I'm like, what's a lot weirder than fanfic is the people who, there are literally people who are like arguing about like Verstappen on the main, and I'm like, honestly, like the anti-Verstappen people are arguably more obsessed with it than the pro-Verstappen people, but also like you're all talking about this openly in public. Like, go, like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay. I don't mind talking about it in public because, like, respectfully, like, tell the Red Bull admin.
No, it's we passed that point with Maxiel a long time ago. Like, it really is like the minute F1 admins started using it for content, I'm like, okay, we're past the point where people can argue about like responsible fandom and stuff like that because like they started using that shit for clickbait and like don't tell me that the admins don't know what they're doing. Like these are people that are our age. They've been on the internet. Like you know that that's a ship name. You do.
Yeah, of course. And if you don't know, you should be fired for not knowing.
Right.
If you are the like Red Bull or Ferrari admin
Right.
or the Oilers admin, like you know.
Yeah.
If you don't know, if you're the Oilers admin, and you don't know what the try is. You were just like plainly not doing your job.
Right. Right. So no, it's like yeah, they started. Yeah, once
It's also like no normal real human being actually thinks Max Verstappen is like going to Charles after the race and like commiserating their terrible losses and then like fucking through their problems.
oh,
Ferrari motorhome, okay? No one thinks that.
it'd be cool if they were though.
Right, but like that's what it seems like these people like are claiming the other side are doing, and it's like
no, but it's also just funny to me because I'm like, y'all talk about this like more than the Verstappen people, save for like 4, 6, and also I'm like, I need you to know that you people are fighting demons, but the demons are like 6, 17-year-olds. Like, is it really that serious?
That's the other thing. It's just like if you want your sport to not become baseball, you need to allow people to enjoy it for what it is.
Right.
Like, because that's what all of these sports are coming to. If they don't allow and encourage a younger fan base, they are becoming baseball. And trust me, that's not a good thing.
Right.
And so you either need to let people engage in this stuff, because the thing is, right? I said this with the movie. I said this with DTS. Like, if you get 100 people to watch the first race of a season, and 60 of those people are watching because Charles Leclerc's hot, and give up because they're like, I can just follow him on Instagram, I don't care. But 40 people were, or all 100 people were like, Charles Leclerc's hot, I want to watch F1 now. And then 60 of them are like, I can just follow him on Instagram, I don't care. That's still 40 new fans who will learn something about the sport.
Also, like the real benefit of Drive to Survive is that if you just take someone and drop them into any sport, they're never like no one's gonna care. Like you need the hook, right? Like F1.
I don't care about IndyCar.
Because I don't know who any of these. Well, I do know who they are, but you know what I mean. Like
I don't have a rooting interest. I don't have a person that I'm like, okay, so who am I supposed to cheer for?
right.
It's like vaguely. Like, I was honestly really hoping Frat Boy would have gone to Indy just so I could like cheer for him and then find out who all the rest of these people are and like figure out who I like and don't like. But I'm not learning who David Malukas is.
Yeah.
Apologies to that man.
I know Stingray Rob.
Like this is my point. Like I kind of cheer for Pato O'Ward because he just looks like a Mexican regen of every other Zach Brown driver.
Oh my god! Never forget when I got canceled for thinking he was British. But Drive to Survive does a pretty decent job of being like who, what, when, where, and why, right? And is it perfect? Yes. Is it slightly misleading? Yes. Is it very clear that whoever is high level producing this does not have a very deep knowledge of Formula One? Yes. But it's not for us. It's for that 101. You know what I mean? To tell you who, what, when, who these people are. what's going on, the basic format of the championship and the weekend, why you care. That's what, and personally I like watching it because when you watch it from a meta level of like knowing that these people know that they're going to be filmed for Netflix, it is very interesting to analyze the choices that they make when you know that they know that they're on TV, right? Like,
well, and you still get interesting stuff like Horner saying to Dominicali in Silverstone 22, they fucked Leclerc, right? That's really interesting. That's it. That's like a fun thing to know that even Christian Horner,
yeah,
who was in a title fight against Charles Leclerc,
was
like they fucked him.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
And that's a pretty good, like, unbiased sort, not to ever quote Christian Horner approvingly, but like that's an interesting neutral source on the matter, being like Charles was fucked.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, and you get behind the scenes nuggets of gold like that. Like another cute example is when Pierre won in Monza, Charles snuck out of the medical center to watch him on the podium, and they have a clip of him watching Pierre on the podium, and they're doing a Lando voiceover after, and it's supposed to be like a sad Ferrari moment trademark, but you know that as someone knowledgeable that this is actually a very sweet moment of Charles breaking out of the medical center because he was so happy for Pierre and he wanted to see him win a race and be on the podium. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, George, and watching that convo of George and Toto where Toto's straddling that fucking boat for no reason, like, beautiful. No notes. Like, did I glean anything from the conversation? No. But like, it was so funny. And then also, I now know that Toto Wolff uses plastic silverware despite being a billionaire, and it's really changed everything that I think about him.
I think my actual favorite Just Rod moment is it's the season that came out in 22, so that's the 21 season. It's when they're talking about the championship fight, and Toto talks about how he was opposed to the Halo at first.
Yeah, and he's wrong.
Thank God I guess I was opposed to this. I thought it was going to be a disaster. Thank God
Yeah.
that is a moment.
Genuine yeah. Yeah. I also think Yeah. I also think that like, I call them the hometowns because it kind of reminds me of The Bachelor when they do hometowns. But like like every year it's like 5 or 6 of them will get a little like segment, right? And I do think the choices that the drivers make in those segments are interesting to me. And it gives you a little bit of insight into these people that you wouldn't normally like. I remember Esteban had one. I don't remember what season it was, but like you're in his apartment and he's talking and he's like, "Oh," and he like picks up his cat and he starts speaking as if he is the cat, like the cat is talking to the camera. And I was like, that's so like it made me like Esteban, you know what I mean? I was like, that's cute. Like he has a cat that he likes. Like we got to see Kimmy's childhood bedroom, well, his current bedroom because he's still a child, but you know what I mean? Like it's I think that there are like if you watch it not from a perspective that like this is like a season documentary, like I get why people get frustrated with it. Also, Flavio talking shit about England and then his call dropping, like that is high comedy. And also,
so one of the ones that like annoyed me before I like made my piece of Drive to Survive was like they show Mercedes winning the constructors after Saudi, and like the celebrations and the whatever, and they sort of suggest that they won it there.
Yeah, that was so weird.
But because they wanted the whole last episode to be about the drivers,
right?
Okay? Understood. Like once you understand the reason they made the choice, it's a defensible decision, right?
Yeah.
Is it the decision I would make? Probably not. But it's defensible. It's eminently defensible if you understand that they are crafting a narrative.
Right.
And the point of the narrative, like, respectfully, if you don't realize that reality TV, which is what this is, whether they call it that or not, is edited imperfectly, like,
Yeah.
do we think the fantasy suites on The Bachelor are not,
No, exactly.
selectively edited?
No, exactly. And like there are parts of like stuff like that that like pisses me off, but I just think it is like if you can if you can just accept that this is reality TV and not like a this isn't like HBO investigates like it's Real Housewives of F1, then you're going to be a lot happier watching it. Like this season, like when they give James Vowles a rom-com main love interest edit. Like they got the music, he's jogging with all the other dorks. Like it's so
Sorry, before you just reminded me. When Christian Horner is just like jogging in like English farmland, is the Eminem song actually?
No, I added that over.
I was unsure at this point because I've seen like that series of videos from you so many times.
It's so but also for them, and it's the same episode where they like do the James Vowles rom-com main love interest edit, like he's jogging, the music of it, and then cut to the Alpine offices, and they didn't shell out for the actual Darth Vader theme song, but like they might as well have. It was like dun, 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 and you just see Flavio around the corner. I was like, hell yeah, hell yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, it's fucking raining here. Like, I hate it. This place sucks. Like, this is why English people are miserable. Like, it sucks here."
I mean, in fairness, he's probably right.
He also he says this is why the English are miserable and Romans are happy. I'm like, do Italian people call themselves Romans? He's not from Rome. He's never lived in Rome one time.
Flavio, I'm so glad you exist.
I'm like, is this a dog whistle that I'm missing? Like, I don't know what's going on right now, but
does he only mean like white Italians?
There were Romans that weren't white.
No, I know, but like, is that what he's meaning though by it?
Well, I am worried that it was a dog whistle. I am worried about that, but I don't see how.
Right? It's Flavio Briatore. He's like 97 years old. He's an Italian mobster. Like, you think this man has good opinions on race?
No. But he's never been openly racist, which I feel like is kind of shocking.
Because he wanted to sign Lewis Hamilton at some point.
Listen, I'll take what I can get. This is F1.
Happy are you that Charles lives in a country that doesn't have democracy, and therefore you're never going to have to find out how any of his political views.
Thank God, because I know they're not good. Well, I actually think no, it's not worse, but not having political views is not that much better than having bad political views, in my personal opinion. Also, Monaco doesn't have gay marriage in the year of our Lord 2025. So,
Italy yet?
well, the Catholic Church. Does Italy have gay marriage? Nope. Sure don't. That's really crazy. I mean, not really, because like they're so Catholic, but like, damn. Does France? Hang on.
Yeah, they did it like around the time you guys did.
2013. Go France. Now I'm just curious. Switzerland. And Switzerland has it. Italy, get your shit together.
So Switzerland got to gay marriage on time, but they couldn't get to. But they could.
I wouldn't say on time. They legalized it in 2021. So they're okay. I have to go though because my mom keeps calling me. But I do think Flavio has probably done a Roman salute at some point. So we'll end on that lovely note.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.